Isn't this a sports show?
Stick to sports!
Thank you. Every caller.
Almost entirely.
Like, he is a bipartisan bleep talker. That's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be known as a bipartisan bleep talker.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I gain energy by talking. I'm a plant in that way, and my photosynthesis isn't with sunlight, it's with attention. I am bacterial.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
You know what they're probably not going to talk about on ESPN? Too many Spider Boys.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We are live. We are on location. We are at the Kansas City Power and Light District. We are in Guy Fieri's place here at KCP&L. That's right. Remember the show we did a few years ago, back in the old days, getting ready for this place to open? Guy Fieri was out here. I asked him if a hot dog was a taco. We got a somewhat confused answer, but a wonderful picture that will live forever on, I believe, my mom's desk. Where the school she works at, I believe she has told me. I gotta check in on her on this again. Pretty sure the framed picture on her desk that involves me is just, you know, her favorite person in the world and also her eldest son, me and Guy Fieri. It's just, you know, there is nothing that shoots the energy this show deserves right into my veins, like saying the phrase, I am broadcasting live from Guy Fieri's Dive and Taco Joint at KCP&L. We, of course, are out here for the Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by us here at Sports Radio 810 WHB. It is for the Big 12 Championship Tournament. K-State and West Virginia hitting second half action over in the T-Mobile Center right now. And then through the remainder of these next couple of days, we're going to see a Big 12 tournament champion crowned. KU looking to get their one seed cemented. If you're talking about K-State locally, they've got exactly one path to the NCAA tournament, and it's to win this whole dang thing. And if they do, we'd have an incredible story there as well. There's a lot of angles across all of the fun down here at KCP&L. At Miller Lite Fan Fest. So come and join us if you're not here tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to look. Is it going to be cold? It's going to be cold. Sure, of course it's going to be cold. Is it going to snow? Yeah, look, I mean, come on. It's March in Kansas City. You got to be prepared for the elements. We're going to be out here. I'm going to have as many layers of socks and pants as I need. I'm going to be bringing out the best boots I got. Go ahead and layer up and come out and enjoy the fun out here with us at Miller Lite Fan Fest. It's all brought to you by Whataburger, Gutter Cover KC, X-Golf Leewood, Core First Bank, CBD American Shaman, and, of course, Miller Lite. We've got all sorts of things to talk about here today as well. Rudy just informed me of a story I did not see at all. We've been very busy out here so far today. I have not done much Twitter scrolling, although, yeah, I did see that Carson Wentz, Washington Commanders quarterback, is a thing that I'm going to have to get used to saying. That's bonkers. We'll spend some time there because I've got questions, not that many answers, lots of thoughts. We'll sort through all of that, and a lot of fun here tonight among our guest list as well. We'll have our usual Wednesday chat with Kent Swanson of the KC Sports Network, KCSN Draft Guide pre-orders available now. We'll talk to him about the Russell Wilson trade yesterday, the AFC West, what the Chiefs are going to be doing, all of that. We'll talk to him here in about 10 or 15 minutes. At 9 tonight, we will talk to Zack Kelberman of the Sports Illustrated Broncos site, Mile High Huddle, to talk about the Russell Wilson trade from the Denver side of things. But at 8, he's here right now. He doesn't have a headset right now because we got stuff to do up until this time.
What's the deal with the headset? Hey, what's going on, Josh? That's not a good first impression. What am I doing?
Not a good first impression on several levels. I would say it was a not great impression or a great first impression or a great person to be doing an impression of. Hartzell works for us now. I don't know if people heard that on the Zone earlier. I don't know if you saw the social posts. I don't know if maybe I'm breaking the news. But Hartzell Gray, the one, that Hartzell, Sporting Kansas City Hartzell, formerly of the Buzz Hartzell, killed the Buzz, some are saying. Some are saying.
I've got that effect.
Some people are saying, our beloved Jordan Foote fell off a stage here today. I didn't see it. Seemed like the Hartzell effect. But Hartzell's going to be here. I'm going to give him the headset for the 8 o'clock hour, for however much the 8 o'clock hour you want to be here. Guys, the taco joint with me. I will fall off the stage here eventually. Guys, we can cover this when we talk to Hartzell, when we have a little more time to spread our wings. I'm so freaking excited that Hartzell is here. I cannot tell you all how excited I am to have Hartzell here within the proverbial walls of Sports Radio 810, within the reach of almost entirely sports, at an arm's length that I can touch. Hartzell and I have hugged maybe 5 or 6 times today. We're holding hands right now, easily. We're going to hit double digits before we're out of here today.
It's weird because I'm looking at your face right now, and that is the most straight-faced, non-inspiring, unexcited face I've ever seen.
So, if you're watching on the Twitch and the Facebook and the YouTube streams, yes.
You look a little sad.
I look a little sad, pretty emotionless. In fact, Hartzell, if you want to play along, go ahead and go to the 810 Facebook. Just go to the 810 Facebook or YouTube or Twitch right now, whichever one you want to do, and you can see our current setup. So we're on remote, and so the Twitch setup is one of Rudy's creation, and so Rudy's making the point. We're live, baby. We're live. Rudy's making the point that I don't look nearly as excited as I sound.
You look how I look whenever it's snowing outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, if you just look a little closer, I'm really actually very excited. Also, you can't see Hartzell in the frame there, but it's.
What do y'all throw in here that
This is, so I gotta explain the mascots and everything to Hartzell now. These are all of our mascots. These are, Dick Justice is the wiener dog. Naturally. We've got Aggravated Kitten. That purple dolphin was a gift from Danny Welniak. That's Goatee the goat. Mr. Dossie is the fancy elephant. I think we named that one dog like Mocha or something. Welcome to Almost Entirely Sports, Hartzell. Welcome to Almost Entirely Sports. We have a cinematic universe. We have characters. You know, it's like, I don't remember what TV station it is that says characters welcome. TBS, characters welcome. AES, characters welcome. It's why we've got stuffed animals.
Lawsuit pending.
Lawsuit is certainly on the.
Trademark is real serious in the new normal.
It's really close to coming down on our heads. But it's also just another reason that I'm so excited to have you here, Hartzell. So we'll talk to Hartzell about whatever we want to talk about because I'm just excited to have his voice on this show. I'm so tickled to death that Hartzell is here and isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I'm just thrilled. So we'll have him for the 8 o'clock hour. We'll talk on the Broncos side at 9. We'll have Kent here momentarily. Here's my quick thing on the Carson Wentz trade. I feel like that's just like the place to start. And then, Rudy, if you want to try to give your pitch of the story that you just saw, I'll let you do that, and then we can call Kent. But Washington was apparently, calling every team in football, trying to find a quarterback. So there was a report somewhere that they didn't actually call the Chiefs. Whatever, I don't care. Doesn't matter. It's all funny. Then they're trying to get Aaron Rodgers. Not happening. Try for Russell Wilson. Don't want to trade him in the conference. Apparently, he's in Denver now. So now the Colts are trading Carson Wentz to Washington for a package of picks that is thought to. This is an early tweet from Schefter. 2 third-round picks. I believe it's 2. Well, hold on. That is such an old tweet. Let me get you the actual ins and outs here, because the actual details of this do not get better for Washington. Here's the detail that I'm going to give you first before we get draft picks. Washington is paying the full $28 million due to Carson Wentz this year, which includes a $5 million roster bonus due next week. The Colts bleeped up, gave Carson Wentz too much money, and then the Washington Commanders, as their first noteworthy act as their newly named franchise, said, don't even sweat it, Chris Ballard. We're going to give you picks and take that miserable contract off your hands so we can upgrade over friend of Almost Entirely Sports, Taylor Heineke?
I know a quarterback who's on the who might be on the move on the trading block, and I know a team that could use a backup.
Bring Taylor Heineke to Kansas City. He deserves better than this. He really does. Also, Washington deserves worse than this. This is everything that they actually do deserve. They eat the contract. You have, again, look, maybe I'm biased because Taylor Heineke and I are now close personal friends based off his one appearance on this show on Radio Row. But I really like talking to Taylor Heineke.
If you needed to sleep on his couch, he'd be like, yes, Josh, of course.
You know what? I think he might. Seem like that kind of guy.
Of course, he might be sleeping on your couch when he comes here to be Patrick Mahomes' backup, just until he finds a place. It won't be forever.
And he's welcome to. My arms are wide open to Taylor Heineke. He can have the futon in the basement. Gets a little chilly down there. We'll leave the space heater.
I would argue Austin Creed's arms are wide open.
Also true. But to quote-unquote upgrade from Taylor Heineke to Carson Wentz, Washington gave up 2 third-round picks, one of those that can become a second-round pick if Carson Wentz plays 70% of the plays, another second-round pick swapping with Washington. So they're getting one in return and also sending one. But it's 2/3, one that seems pretty likely to become a second, a pick swap, and the entirety of the Carson Wentz contract. If you would have said Carson Wentz is going to get traded and all these picks are involved, I'm not kidding. I would have assumed that if the whole contract was moving, that the Colts were the ones giving up picks, like the Brock Osweiler deal from several years ago, or any NBA salary dump. I just assume that to get that albatross off of your neck, you maybe have to give something up. The Colts messed up and got rewarded. There's no punishment there. And now they're rumored to be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. What are we doing? That's the carousel? Is Taylor Heineke gets kicked by Carson Wentz, who's going to get replaced by Jimmy Garoppolo? And then Taylor Heineke's going to go to Cleveland and they're going to trade Baker Mayfield to the Steelers or something? There is not a world in which I understand why an NFL team would do the thing that Washington just did, beyond the fact that they are, now and forevermore, the Washington football team. Also, I got to find I'm actually going to find the credit on the tweet here, even though I'm often horrible at making sure I get the credit given out. Roger Sherman of The Ringer made a really fabulous point. Said Washington Commanders quarterback Carson Wentz has drastically worse vibes than Washington football team quarterback Taylor Heineke. And he could not be more right. He just could not be more correct. And also Adam Schefter said now it's Commander Carson, and we can't have that. We can't call him Commander Carson. I'm incapable. Unwilling. It's unfair to Taylor Heineke. It's stupid. It is a ridiculous decision for Washington to make. And now the Colts are apparently going to learn from their mistake of going from losing Andrew Luck, right? They ultimately decide, okay, well, we'll try Phillip Rivers for a year. Didn't really work. Okay, well, let's go get Carson Wentz. Did not work. To maybe going and trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe if Chris Ballard can find a way to avoid actually paying Jimmy Garoppolo and they just have a ton of salary cap space now or whatever, maybe there's something to be learned there. But holy smokes, this just seems like a remarkably smooth-brained move for the smoothest brain franchise in the history of the NFL.
Now, what if I told you Frank Reich apologized about everything? Does that make it better?
Wait, what did Frank Reich apologize for?
Apparently, there was a report that he apologized to Jim Irsay about being the one who really wanted Carson Wentz. Was like, hey, my bad. This didn't work.
Sure didn't, but ultimately kind of did. I don't know. I don't know how many players in NFL history are going to end up having more draft picks traded in their name than Carson Wentz, and it's just hilarious for the caliber of player that he is. I was willing to be a little bit of an optimist entering last season. I do not think that you're going to get a Carson Wentz career rehabilitation revival in Washington. It just does not seem terribly likely to me. We are broadcasting live from Guy Fieri's Taco. I said Fieri. Oh, no. I don't even know who I am anymore. It's Guy Fieri. I respect the way that's pronounced. We're at Guy Fieri's Dive and Taco Joint here at KCP&L for the Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all surrounding the Big 12 tournament. K-State, West Virginia keeping it close here about halfway through the second. It's all brought to you by Whataburger, Gutter Cover KC, X-Golf Leewood, Core First Bank, CBD American Shaman, and Miller Lite. We'll take a break and come back talking to Kent Swanson of the KC Sports Network about the Russell Wilson trade, maybe the Carson Wentz trade, looking ahead to the draft a little bit. That draft guy is just around the corner. We'll talk to Kent about all that whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Are you at a dead...
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
But whenever Cutlass had the heel turn of just doing like worship albums, I just had to pull that parachute, man. It was bad.
How does that even work?
You are my strong tower, fortress when I'm weak.
Oh no!
Your word is good and holy. Your face is all I see.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I gotta be honest, being out here at Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB, I have not been terribly online these last couple of days. I cannot say with confidence that I know exactly how our friend Kent Swanson is feeling about the AFC West right now. I have my guesses as to how he feels about Washington trading for Carson Wentz. That one seems like a pretty easy layup. I'm excited to talk about all of that. And, of course, the NFL Draft creeping up ever so quickly, and you can go pre-order the KC Sports Network Draft Guide at gum.co. That's gum.co/KCSN22. You can either subscribe, or you can either pre-order that with the promo code Brisco Sucks and get a little bit off, or you can subscribe, get some free KCSN Substack access, or if you're already a subscriber to the Substack, you can get a discount on the Draft Guide. So many ways to get the benefits of that whole crew there at KC Sports Network. Kent, let's start with Carson Wentz trade, please. Can I just get a hearty chuckle out of you? Maybe a full belly laugh? How does that make you feel?
I mean, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is just, it reeks of desperation. It's very Washington move to make. And, like, this team is calling about everyone. They're checking the availability of Patrick Mahomes, which should just, like, remove all credibility from the entire region. And now they're going and having to make an aggressive move to, like, recoup most of the draft capital that Chris Ballard put in there to get Wentz. He's getting a lot of it back. This is incredible.
Washington's taking his whole salary, Kent. They're taking all of his salary.
Look, I feel bad for our country, but this is tremendous content.
Last thing on that front, how does it make you feel that apparently the Colts are expected to now be in on the Jimmy Garoppolo sweepstakes?
You laugh. Hey, you laugh. But, look, I am not a Jimmy G stan by any stretch of the word. But, like, that football team with Jimmy G gets a lot farther than what they got this year. And, like, sure, as slim as the pickings are, Jimmy G was in the NFC Championship again this year. So I don't feel as bad about that one as I do laughing at the Carson Wentz situation.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, Washington thinks they did something. Indy got rewarded or at least barely punished for a terrible deal that they made. It's just,
it's delicious. It's delicious.
It's so good. I am legitimately interested, though, and again, I'm sure you've tweeted about it on Twitter where people should not follow you at Kent_Swanson. But I actually haven't seen your large-scale take on Russell Wilson's the Bronco. Now what? Because I think there's a lot of room for nuance in this one in terms of how it affects the Chiefs.
Well, I mean, look, I think I think the Broncos had to do this, right? And like they had to make a move like this, and this market is going to be insane for quarterbacks, and they had to go out and do it. I think it makes the Broncos a legit threat. But I think, I look at the Chargers and the Broncos as a legit threat that still probably can't do it all the way. Like, they can't unseat the Chiefs in any real tangible way. They're going to fall short consistently. And maybe the Chiefs, finally drop a game against the Broncos for the first time since, like, the Reagan administration. But, like, I don't feel a level of threatened, especially considering I don't know. Like, I think Russell Wilson's style of play has kind of been figured out. I don't think he's playing to the same kind of level he has in the past. Maybe that changes now that he's in a different situation. But, I mean, I'm not sold on 33-year-old Russell Wilson moving forward either.
Yeah. The one thing, cause I think that's all interesting. Maybe I'm going to zoom out too far here because I'm specifically interested also in, like that view of Wilson and what the Broncos actually still have at this point. I 1,000% agree this is a move the Broncos had to make. I mean, I think if anything, it's got to make you sick if you're a Seahawks fan. If you're Denver, got to give it a shot. But the one thing that I think I might be legitimately a little more concerned about is just now the strength of the division as a whole. Like you said, I mean, maybe the Broncos finally win their first game since the dawn of man against this team, but you have 2 games against Russell Wilson, 2 games against Justin Herbert, and then 2 games against the Raiders team with a legitimately, pretty good quarterback and the rest of a team that we're going to have to wait and find out what Josh McDaniels head coach 2.0 looks like, whatever. But the AFC West is clearly the most talented quarterbacking division in football, maybe ever. And whenever you have 1 seed, 1 first-round bye, I don't feel silly by going, you know what, I think the sum of the parts there in the AFC West could actually beat the Chiefs up a little bit when the Bills are going to play Zach Wilson, Tua Tagovailoa, and Mac Jones.
McCorkle Jones. Yeah.
McCorkle Jones.
It is a fair and really astute assessment. I mean, we're talking about a division that had 3 teams in the playoffs this year. I mean, people forget the Raiders actually snuck in there and almost beat the AFC, the AFC representative that shall not be named right now.
I appreciate you not even calling them the AFC champions. That was sort of petty in a way that I like.
I don't think I meant to, but I think there's probably just a lot of stuff I haven't dealt with yet because I was in Vegas trying to cope, and you don't cope in Vegas, you just keep going.
That's right.
It's a good point, man. That's 6 viable challenges a year for sure, and it's a stack it's a stacked conference for sure. But I mean, look the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs melted down for a stretch of football and still hosted the AFC Championship game. So my counter, I guess, is just the margin for error for that meltdown maybe isn't the same, but I think this team plays consistent enough football, and Patrick Mahomes, that I think it'll be okay in the long run.
I'm totally with that also, and I guess to pivot to what the Chiefs are doing here now, I don't even mean to infer that there's a reason for the Chiefs to change their plans because Russell Wilson is a Bronco. I think if your plans are that flimsy, that is a bad sign for your original plans. But I also am finding myself perhaps taking a little longer look at the secondary or the pass rush. And maybe I shouldn't need to, but I feel like my eyes are very open now to just the week in, week out grind that this schedule is going to bring the Chiefs next year. It's a first-place schedule around the conference, and I just expect there to be plenty of challenges all the time and a lot of question marks on this defense right now. So, again, not to say that they need to do something drastic because Russell Wilson's a Bronco, but have you done any, inventory taking for what the Chiefs need to do now just since this move happened?
Well, I mean, okay, it's another good point, dude. I hate complimenting you, but okay, look what the Chargers did, and the Chargers had some success winning down the field, beating up on the Chiefs' weakness at outside cornerback. Mike Williams, who they just signed to an extension, they got him back in the building. He's a guy that kind of plays above the rim. Teams willing to challenge the corners outside. Had a lot of success. Russell Wilson, it's different personnel. He loves to throw the ball down the field. He loves to challenge and chuck it down the field for big explosive plays. And honestly, I'm not sure some of the reasons that the Seahawks didn't have such a commitment to run the football is so they could try to Russell Wilson's just out here trying to chuck it down the field. He's touchdown, check down, in a lot of different ways. And it's a very weird approach to football. Their guy. But okay, so now you've got a couple teams. You got a pair of teams willing to challenge down the field. I think that at least that perks your ears up a little bit about how you're going to address that because the Chargers were very much the clear cut challenger for this team until a day ago, and now there's 2 of them, and both of them have quarterbacks and some of the personnel that are able to challenge outside. And the Chiefs have yet to make a sizable investment at the cornerback position. We've talked about this 6 times this offseason already, it feels like. But, I mean, it's true. So, I mean, at least consider it, right?
I think you have to. And, again, Russell Wilson and Mike Williams shouldn't change the type of DBs that Steve Spagnuolo likes, but also maybe it should. I don't know. I don't know.
No, it's not that. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's the type of cornerbacks that Steve Spagnuolo likes as much as whether or not the Chiefs are going to prioritize it. Because, Steve Spagnuolo likes big, long, athletic corners that can tackle. I mean, those guys theoretically should play. The problem is, they had a big, they bid long cornerback on one side of the ball, and then they just kind of spent on whatever was available or whatever they could find available, a la Mike Hughes or DeAndre Baker. So it's, maybe you just have to be more intentional about the guys that you're throwing out there. Maybe you actually have to pay a little bit more attention to that position than they have in the past,
Well, you're right that we've only been talking about that now for like 3 straight years. So let me put a twist on that also. I'm feeling creative tonight. Maybe I can get 3 good points in a row from you. What do they invest in less if they do decide, hey, the secondary, the cornerback position in particular, is going to be something we're going to focus in on? Your third linebacker is definitely Ben Neiman or a Ben Neiman equivalent, right? Like where are you able to cut back if you have to invest more in that position?
Well, that's a great question.
Oh, 3 in a row, hat trick.
They've got so many issues.
Yeah.
They do. Especially on the defensive side of the football, Steve Spagnuolo has been a little leery of playing rookies and playing young guys, and it takes these guys a lot of time often to really get opportunities to see the field. And so now you are, what are you going to do? You've got draft capital to use to help invest the cornerback or on the defensive side of the football. I don't know how you approach that there, but I mean, that's what's so fascinating is they've got some free, they've got some cap space to spend on some veterans that can play more immediately. But maybe it's just that maybe the quote unquote, what you're changing philosophically to help, account for corners is you might just have to lean on some young guys a little differently. Maybe that's what it just boils down to. It's we're kind of cornered in a position. Sorry, Steve. This first round edge, we need them on the field quicker. We need, whatever it is. We got to figure out a way to make that happen. But I could also, if they do have to sacrifice, I wouldn't be stunned if they tried to get cute at wide receiver again. That's another thing I could see them doing too.
That one, yeah.
It would hurt.
No, it would, but I also could see it. And if you're trying to come up with a way for the Chiefs to still be the Chiefs and improve somewhere, I get it.
We're gonna take Josh Gordon's tweet at face value and be like, oh yeah, it's gonna be different next year, because he was really excited about being in Kansas City. He's tweeting today, maybe next year he just needed a year under his legs. Who knows? But I mean, that's a place they definitely could, get cute because they've already shown the propensity to.
Yeah. You wrote a little bit, and again, I'm not going to give you all the goods here. So this is go subscribe to the Substack, okay? Or buy the draft guide, pre-order the draft guide, and get free Substack, and you'll know that it's good after you see it. You wrote about a couple of cut candidates for the Chiefs and trying to find, some veterans that can't stay with one team at a certain price. Maybe you can be a nice landing spot for one of them. I'm actually not even going to pick one of these 3. I am curious from you which one of these 3 you were the most attached to the idea of, which one you talked yourself into the most, and you know what, boy, this is really – Chiefs fans should be excited about this because maybe this is even one where I think Brett Veach would pull the trigger and maybe spend a little bit of money to be a landing spot for a vet that was a cap cut.
Well, I don't want to give too much away. We don't have to tell them how many cut candidates there are, right? 'Cause maybe we could talk about 2 and –
just if you're not subscribed to the Substack at this point, I don't know what you're doing. But no. I'm saying just pick. You got to pick your favorite. I'm not going to let you give me 2. I'm going to say pick one, and then give me. Hold on, Kent. Here, this is also good for the listener who's already subscribed. Tell me the position of your second favorite, and I'll know, and the subscribers will know. But you have to subscribe to get it.
Narrative-wise, the safety position is very interesting. The guy I kind of talk about, I think there's some very interesting correlations and necessities, maybe even beyond it's actually not a guy that has the same skill set as Tyrann Mathieu, so go read that. But
I liked that one very much.
Yeah, there's some stuff there that I don't know, man. I find it interesting. Zadarius Smith is very likely going to get cut. I mean, he's got a $27 million cap hit. Barely played last year. He played in 2 games for the Packers last year. He's gone, but he had 26 sacks the 2 years prior for Green Bay, and he fits the profile in a market that doesn't have a ton of edge rushers. I think the Chiefs are going to be in on ultimately, and there's not a ton of them anyway. I think this guy is, Zadarius Smith's really good value, and I mean, he fits perfectly with what the Chiefs need, and they've got to load up on some pass rush. They got to find some guys, and like I could see as the Darius Smith, Melvin Ingram battery, by the time we get to September.
And you know what the Chiefs really need? They need a Kentucky player. It's a Darius Smith, baby.
Dude, Rudy, I've got so many Kentucky guys that I love.
Every year there's
draft.
like 5 of them, and we won't draft any of them.
There's like a bunch that makes sense, though. Like Mark McCall out of Kentucky, like the D tackle's like the best interview I had at the Shrine Bowl. He is like the most funny human one of the most funny humans I've ever met. You got Zack Pascal, the defensive lineman out of, like, he's kind of an interior guy. Like,
Big fan of Pascal.
Just load up on Kentucky, guys. Good things will happen.
Give me Wan'Dale Robinson. He's great. Give me, you know what? They could use Luke Fortner. Could be a nice backup interior offense lineman for this team for a decade.
Fortner, I think Fortner might go earlier than backup.
He's moving. He went from being like a 7th round guy to like a 3rd round guy real fast.
He's good. I mean,
I think
they got dudes, man.
Rudy, I think Kent said the phrase, just draft Kentucky guys and everything will be good.
Yeah.
And now I guess I've said it. So if you want to just put together Rudy's Dreamliner, I feel like that one for you, you might just make that one like your ringtone.
I mean, the Chiefs can real quick turn this offense, into a Kentucky offense real fast. The guys are there. There's 2 offensive linemen and a receiver in this draft. We can make it happen. There's going to be a quarterback
and they
next
hired Liam
year.
Cohen.
That would have been nice.
Oh, that would have been fun. R.I.P. that dream.
Yeah. Did we talk about Matt Nagy with you? I know we talked about Eric Bieniemy at one point. I think we talked between Eric Bieniemy and Matt Nagy. Do you recall talking about Matt Nagy on this radio show, or have I just hit a point where I've talked about every topic there is with every person there is?
I think we might have. I know I talked with Jason on the midday show at one point. I don't know if we talked about it with you though, but we can if you want. I mean, it's whatever.
You sound so excited about it. I would hate to not get to go over it. No, that's fine. No, go find a Zone podcast. Go listen to a podcast in the Zone to get hear Kent's take. That's fine.
Hey, it's like the highlight. Like we have a rotation with the lab, and getting to talk to Beers is just the highlight of my month every time I get to talk to him. So.
Which, if I'm Jason or Corey right now, my ears just perked up. Wow, cool. Thanks, Kent. Awesome. Appreciate that.
Know. They know.
But
they totally know.
It's Beards. It's hard to push away from that. Let's do a free agent prediction check-in with you then, and also like. I don't think you'd have any qualms on the Orlando Brown front. Him getting tagged was obviously the thing to do. Seems like a long-term deal. To me at this point, from what I know, it doesn't seem like this is going to be a very contentious negotiation process. Do you have any hesitation on Orlando Brown?
Nah. I mean, as long as he's not getting the Trent Williams number, I have no problem with them signing Orlando Brown. He played really well as the season came along, and, I mean, it's really hard to find good tackles. Yeah. And the Chiefs spent a lot to find him and to acquire him. So you better just, he's playing quality football. He's still only 25 years old. Like, he's young.
Crazy.
He's a young free agent. He is the kind of guy that you extend. That's a 5-year deal kind of guy.
Yep.
Especially with the kind of figures that they're going to be putting. This is a 5-year deal that you do here, and no hesitation whatsoever. Because what are you going to do? Try to find him? You're going to have to pay somebody. I think this is the right situation for him. It's the right situation for the Chiefs. Like Nick, no doubt in my mind, and it should be the priority of the offseason first and foremost.
And hearing from Brett Veach, it is. Which does mean that hearing from Brett Veach, every time they talked about Tyrann Mathieu, every time someone with the Chiefs has said the name Tyrann, I have thought there's a little bit less of a chance that he is actually back. I don't know if you feel like you've got like a prediction or whatever. That's up to you. But one thing that I am beginning to already have the conversations of is, hey, so how different is this defense without Tyrann Mathieu? Like, what do they do without him? Because maybe his market doesn't develop the way that he thinks it will. I think it probably will develop just fine for him. But unless there's something unexpected there, it doesn't – I mean, Brett Veach told you, again, like you just said, Orlando Brown's the priority, and they have a lot of other priorities that are going to be coming around that aren't as old as Tyrann Mathieu is.
Real quick, did you see that I got dragged by Pat McAfee this week about Tyrann Mathieu?
No, what?
I got dragged. I had a take, and it showed up on McAfee's show this week, and he misinterpreted it and dragged me for my Tyrann Mathieu take.
No one should ever tweet about Tyrann Mathieu for any reason.
Yeah, I said that Tyrann Mathieu, I was very surprised that his market was $10 million APY, or close to it. Like Rappaport saying, hey, he's probably getting $10 million a year. I was stunned that that was down that low. McAfee thought I was saying the opposite, and I got bopped by him this week on the YouTubes. But I'm stunned that the market is where it is. I think that makes me think he might be back, though. Honestly, as that kind of cap hit, like the lower, like if it's really that low, like that kind of makes me think, like if there's a chance that he doesn't break $10 million, I think it's a higher chance he's back with the Chiefs. But if they don't have him, that's a drastic change because you're losing your linebacker that knows this defense. You're losing the safety that makes people right and makes things right on the back end from the coverage perspective. You're probably losing Frank Clark, who knows this system as well. Like, you're losing 3 levels of your defense. Like, you've got to change some things. You have to. You have to either, simplify or, you got to start from scratch and build up and have some guys with some mental acuity, some smart football players that are going to be able to build on this thing as the season goes along. Maybe the guy that I mentioned in the KCSN Substack with some familiarity to Steve Spagnuolo might be a good fit. But, you've got it. You have to drastically change this thing just from a, I think just because of how much turnover and, how smart those guys were.
It's on mute, obviously, but I'm looking at the Pat McAfee clip right now, and the idea that these two tweets were up on the screen, and they were talking about how dumb you were for thinking that he would not get $10 million a year, coming off of a contract that was worth more than $10 million per year, right? Am I the idiot now? I'm very confused about how they got there.
They thought I was saying he wasn't worth $10 million.
Yeah, and he signed a 3-year, $42 million contract to get here. So I'll tell you what, that would have been a wild take by you if that's what you meant, which it clearly wasn't. Anyway, okay, I'm sure that was fun. I'm sure your mentions were awesome. I'm
sure you're relishing in the fact that regardless of whether it was warranted or not, I was getting dragged in the public square. I just figured you'd be really excited about that.
No, I'm going the other way. I feel like you can, if you go through a difficult time, you can either say this is how it's supposed to be, therefore everyone should have to go through this, or I went through this and didn't enjoy it, therefore I would wish this on no one else. And again, my tweets involving Tyrann Mathieu making television story, it was not a fun one. And so this is just a different person for you reading into something in a tweet that they absolutely shouldn't have. And that's,
Oh, so I'm in a club now. Like, where's my smoking jacket?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. We just wear Pat McAfee's tank tops and tweet and then delete things. That's sort of our homage to a couple of moments in our lives,
I got a lot of work to do if I'm going to wear a tank top, buddy.
No, you don't. The only thing you have to improve to wear a tank top, Kent? Your confidence.
Confidence.
You're out here working on your lats. You should be out here working on your confidence.
Hey,
you
Josh,
made a point.
I got a really important question for you, really quick.
Sure.
I'm sorry if you want to talk real football things.
No, I'm so ready to talk about something else.
I really need to know your exact follower count right now.
Can you tell me yours to at least stall while I get my page open?
No, I'm gonna let the suspense.
I'm not gonna lie. I have it here. Okay, my exact follower count at this moment is 17,860.
Oh my god! I did it. I did it. 17,861.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No, it's not. Refresh.
Yep. Oh, you unfollowed me.
Refresh your page, Kent.
Are we tied now? It still says 861.
Nope, I just hovered over it. I can see 17,860. We're tied.
This is remarkable.
We're tied, but I currently do not follow you on Twitter, which is something that I'll have to amend at some point.
Wow. You
Neck and
you
neck.
are so petty. You are just so petty.
You brought it up on live radio. I couldn't, as you say, let that fly. That was not...
I really wanted to ambush you in this kind of scenario. I thought it would be a lot of fun, and it was everything I hoped it would be.
Yeah, listen, I had like one sarcastic tweet this week, and like 14 people told me that they were unfollowing me. They didn't, but they said they were. So I'm absolutely reeling.
We should see. We should stay tied. You don't have to follow me. You got to follow me back. We should just see if anybody wants to settle that score for us listening to right now. We'll find out.
Okay, and so you can follow me at JB Brisco, and you can follow Kent at Kent Swanson. There's no underscore number or anything, just at Kent Swanson, and you can get him there. Now I've followed you. I've followed you back. I am graciously. This is me sort of taking a knee down by one late. I have followed you back. You're up by one, and you didn't even have to almost die to get your follower count up.
Yeah, that surge really did help. I'm not talking about the insulin.
Yeah, no, that surge really did help. Actually, you can read this. You can read this bleep hole's work at KC Sports Network, kcsportsnetwork.com, kcsn.substack.com, the KC Lab podcast, and, of course, the KC Sports Network draft guide on the way. You can pre-order it now at gum.co/KCSN22. Some really great work done on that network by Craig Stout, Matt Lane, and Kent's joining us currently, so that's good for something. Thank you, Kent, you dirty cheater.
Anytime, buddy. I'm going to relish this.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
I have wonderful news. I have wonderful news to share with you, dear listeners, and it's that I get to tell you about Ruback Fine Jewelry on this show. Yes, they've been serving Kansas City for more than 100 years. That's awesome. You know they've got their bona fides. Here's what's news for you to me, from me to you, about me, for you to hear. That's where I went when it was time for me to find, and not just find, but create a fabulous engagement ring that fiancée Renee, you heard by the title there, clearly loved enough to say yes to. I gotta be honest, I think she might have been on the fence until she actually took a second to look at the ring that had been opened in that box. And if you are in a place right now where you're ready to be engagement ring shopping, I truly cannot recommend Ruback Fine Jewelry highly enough because of how incredible that process was for me and for Renee. She even got involved in some of the design process, which again, helped out for me for sure. But here's the most important thing, and this is the path that I imagine many of you are staring down right now and not knowing where to begin. Maybe you know what you want in a ring. Maybe you know, I want these three things, I want this color of metal, I want all of it. Maybe you know, and if you know, take it to Ruback, and Hal will get it figured out for you. Hal's got like 40 years of experience in the jewelry industry. He was a wealth of information, wonderful to work with. You'll love Hal. But maybe you're like me, and maybe you started that process by Googling cool engagement ring and then trying to figure out where to begin. Go to Hal and tell him what you like, what your potential fiancé likes. Maybe bring your potential fiancé with you even and work on that process. Because here's the thing also, I never would have thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a custom ring made. I did not think that was going to be in the cards for me, but here's the thing that I didn't ever even consider. A custom ring means a custom budget. So you can say, I want to accomplish these things. I want it to look like this. Here's my budget, and Hal will do his best to make that work for a budget that works for you and make it look like an incredible piece of jewelry that you will be so happy with that Renee and I know, in our case, are going to love for a lifetime. So Hal will either help you create a vision or bring your current ideas to life. Either way, go to Ruback and get this figured out for yourself. You can make your appointment with Hal and with Ruback Fine Jewelry right now by visiting them online at ruback.co. That's ruback.co.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here for Window Nation. winter is almost in our rearview mirror. And in a few weeks, when we're feeling the rush of spring air arriving, Window Nation will be feeling the rush of homeowners, calling for new replacement windows. If you call now and beat the rush, you'll get special spring savings, enjoy energy savings sooner, all while upgrading the look and feel of your home. Call or visit windownation.com today and get 2 free windows for every 2 you buy. Plus, you'll make no down payment, no payments, and pay no interest for 24 months. And what makes the deal more amazing is your Window Nation windows are specifically designed for our climate. With Window Nation windows, you get custom-crafted quality, Ultra Energy Star windows installed from installers who have installed over 1 million windows. I'd say yes! Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, no limit, plus no payments for 2 full years. Call 866-90NATION or online at windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION or windownation.com and tell them SSJ sent you.
Hey folks, Jerry and Al at Continental Siding. Springtime means the fish are biting.
It also means it's time for spring cleaning around here. The bigger we get, the more efficient we need to be with our warehousing and delivery systems. We're tearing down and rebuilding so we can serve our installers better, so they can serve our customers better.
Right now, we got a lot of odd lot sizes of siding. These shorter pieces are top quality polymer made right here in Missouri. They're too short to be seamless, but too long to be recycled. So what are we gonna do? We're having a seams on the back of the house sale, larger than we've ever had before.
If you'll help us with our spring cleaning by allowing us to use...
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Can I tell you the secret on this, and then we can talk about other stuff?
Can I tell you something too? Last night.
What?
Like last.
You can't play an Uno reverse card on me.
Yeah.
What?
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's not just the bump music from the line, and maybe you can hear the music bumping here through the headsets as we broadcast live from Guy Fieri's Dive and Taco Joint out at the KC Live area here at the Power and Light District. And we're out here for a very specific reason. It's Big 12 tournament time, and it really feels like we are #back. Big 12 championship tournament action is back. And we're here at the Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. And all of our coverage here this week, we're broadcasting live from Guys here tonight. We'll be over in the McFadden studio tomorrow night. All that coverage all week long across the whole station is brought to you by Whataburger, opening new locations throughout the Kansas City area. Brought to you by Gutter Cover KC, a first-class product installed with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. For details, go to guttercoverkc.com. Gutter Cover KC, they've got you covered. Brought to you by X Golf Leewood, the premier indoor golf and entertainment experience in town. Book your tee time today at xgolfleewood.com. Located on the north side of Town Center Plaza Shopping Center. Bring the world's best golf simulator experience to you. Also brought to you by Core First Bank. At Core First Bank, a winning game plan doesn't just magically happen. Whether we're talking basketball or your own business, you need a team that you can count on. Core First Bank, member FDIC. And, of course, our friends at CBD American Shaman. They're the best. Go on in to your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. CBD American Shaman, everything is better with the feather. And the title sponsor of the whole deal, Miller Lite Fan Fest, Wednesday through Sunday at the Power and Light District. Pep rallies, watch parties, prizes, and giveaways all happening out here. We had a couple of bands on stage earlier. Got a couple of videos. One's already made it out to the 810 socials, another one coming. And the star, both of stage and screen in this instance, Hartzell Gray of Sports Radio 810 WHB. You heard me right. The news of the day today. I could give a bleep about Carson Wentz. We got Hartzell. Hartzell Wentz? I don't know. Where did Hartzell go? Hartzell came here. Hartzell Wentz to Sports Radio 810 WHB, and he is sitting here right next to me at KCP&L, applauding the pun work. It wasn't that good, but the next segment will be, because Hartzell will make his AES debut next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's time to start thinking about spring cleaning, and I already know that thanks to my new E-Tech Custom Coatings garage floor, it's going to be easier to clean, and I'll use my garage more this year than any time before. And it looks great. Give E-Tech Custom Coatings a call today for a free estimate. That's ETEKCustomCoatings.com. For a limited time only, call E-Tech and tell them Nate sent you. You'll get 10% off your E-Tech floor. 913-745.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Like let's part that kimono a little bit. I know how much you love that phrase.
With Joshua Brisco.
Let's part the kimono. Let's give you a peek behind the curtain. Hey, come see some sausage being made.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
So excited for this segment. Not just that we're down here at KCP&L, Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810. All the sponsors, all the goodness, so much good stuff happening out here. But for me personally, the best development of this week, at least so far, is that I can now say the phrase Hartzell Gray of Sports Radio 810 WHB joins us now here on Almost Entirely Sports. Hartzell was meant to happen. This moment, we deserved it. God, I'm glad you're here.
I have told you, my brother, and by the way, thank you for having me on this show, of which I am a fan, have been a fan, and now I'm on this thing. What is happening? Oh, my gosh. When you said Hartzell Gray of Sports Radio 810 WHB, I told you this earlier. I am still having to get that ear ready for that, and it's, man, this is just awesome. You know, I'm somebody who always says it's a good day to be a Kansas Cityan. And it is a good day to be a Kansas Cityan because of the people and the folks of Kansas City. And this is just another way that I get a chance to kick it with my town. And, you know, thanks to everybody at Union. And this happened very quickly. It's a very quick development. And, you know, to the folks who don't know me, I can't wait to meet you. And to the ones who do, who have seen me fall off stages at Sporting KC. You've seen us bring home a title with the Kansas City Monarchs. I mean, what a sentence right there.
Incredible.
In 2022. Who would have thought? You know, if you hung out with us at the Buzz when I was spinning Jack White and Bowie records, you know, if you still currently kick it with me doing public radio on KCUR, which, by the way, we're still doing that, still doing everything. If you heard me on the podcast, the KC Morning Show podcast, of which we are two-time best local podcast. You know, we wear hats because Kansas City's worth staying here for. You know, that's what I think, man. I know I'm preaching right now, but we're back here at Miller Lite Fan Fest. I'm gonna sound like I'm product placing, and maybe I am, but we're here, Hoop Central, stations here. You know, it feels like we're kind of doing this thing again.
Yes.
And even on a Wednesday when it's like negative 1,000 degrees, like, why are folks still here? If not to just kick it with their folks. And it just so happens that me and you right now are honored and have the privilege and pleasure to hang out with a lot of folks.
Yes.
And it's Kansas City, and that's great. So anyway, that's a long story short of saying I cannot wait for us to do even more. And the fact that we're here now, wow, dreams come true. It's great, man.
It feels like the perfect time for you to be here because it really does, man. No one's gonna tell you it's not cold out here. All right, it's been cold. We got stuff set up today. Tomorrow we're gonna do it through a bunch of snow. But the reason we're doing that isn't because we're all idiots. It's because it's including that fact. But it's not because of that. Because the reason that we're all doing it again is because, man, it feels good to be back out here. Earlier we were out shooting a video and I saw Danny Wilniak, who I think is gonna be on tomorrow night's show, pending schedules. And I just yelled from across the parking lot, "Danny, you're my favorite!" And she turned around and then figured it out that it was me. It's like, it's just good to see people here again. And also the people that do make, specifically for us, Kansas City sports media scene, but who make Kansas City altogether special and wonderful to be in. And I'm not blowing smoke. You know I'm not blowing smoke. I don't know that anybody does that better than you do. We've got some people on this station who do that incredibly well. Maybe it's a tie. But, man, I would put you up against anybody in terms of soaking up everything that this city has to offer and putting it back out right for it again, man.
I appreciate that. You make a guy from a hometown feel like a somebody, and that's man, that's really nice, man. I appreciate that. I hit 30 recently, and I was that guy who, for the longest time, I have a bit of a Peter Pan complex. I don't want to grow up. Second star to the right and straight on until morning. I want to live there, you know? And it's odd, though, as I'm trying to, like, find my place in all this, and that not just in this business but in life. You know, it's been fun to realize that maybe it's not a Peter Pan complex I was worried about. Maybe it was like a legacy complex I was worried about. And so here's what I'm trying to get out of that, is that for me to say that I want to have affected some change for somebody, or that I want to have a statue somewhere. Or, not statues are pretentious. If you want a plaque somewhere, you know?
Sure.
So to say all those things on its face, oh, that guy's a pretentious ass. I don't want to hang out with that guy.
Yeah.
But so what I'm saying is, for me to still want to have those things, and for me to feel like I want to contribute to Kansas City to get those things, means that my folks got better, and I can say that I could help get my folks from point A to point B, or maybe I was somebody who could help make them laugh for a few minutes, or make you think for a couple seconds, or just maybe you need somebody to just sit shotgun with. Maybe you just need that passenger on I-70 because that's a long drive. Know what? Hartzell can at least give me a couple jokes. He's going to say a bunch of nonsense, but every so often I giggled.
Yeah.
And so, maybe let's see if we can hang out to the next mile marker,
I love that, because I think, again, like, I still don't know what our time on this show tonight's going to be, or what you having.
Oh, we're going to take some walks. Oh, we have not said one sports take yet.
Oh no, and I don't.
And I don't expect.
Hey, just say that Carson Wentz trade was real silly. You need to spit that out.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, great.
Couldn't agree more.
So okay, we've checked that box, because I do think that there are so many people who, especially nighttime radio listeners in Kansas City,
and I love that.
I love it. But there are some people right now that have had you be the passenger in the car on a long drive, that have gotten that energy from you, that also, again, like, I'm just, we're on the Hartzell tour right now, so I'll just keep saying, like,
stop it some more.
you put energy into people's ears and then into their lives, into doing nighttime radio, doing the Casey Morning Show, real, maybe real crack of dawn for a lot of people. But the idea of trying to figure out what makes you tick, maybe we should do a little therapy here, man. Maybe we can share some stories.
Listen, we can pull up is that couch free?
Is there?
I'm gonna go ahead. Hey, I'm gonna lay down, and you just start throwing me questions. This is the stuff I love. Okay, to answer your question, I think before maybe you even said it.
No, yeah. Tell me
this is why we do radio.
Yeah.
I know your question. I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, this is why we do it. It is that right there. The fact that, when I spin records, I would say, "Hey, it's Hartzell with such and such. What's the word?" And I would pause, because in my mind, if I'm doing it right, I'm sitting shotgun. Then if I said that question to you, you would say, "Oh, I'm okay."
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not. Or meh. And so I'm on air saying after that, "Okay, what's going on? All right, well, it's you and me tonight. We got this. You want to hit me up?" And they'll say, "Well, maybe I do want to hit that guy up." Or maybe I don't want to hear a word from that guy.
Right.
But either way, it's me and you this evening, or it's me and you in the morning, and I don't know. It's just something. I'm romantic for that. Even kids now, God, oh my God, did I just date myself?
Kids
oh my
these
gosh.
days.
Kids these days, get off my lawn, turn on the radio, it still exists. But, they even have an idea what radio is. Why?
Yeah.
Why can you make a radio joke? No one wants to be a DJ. Like, that joke still plays. Why? Because you have this idea of what radio is, because it's always in your car. It's always going to be free. It's at a face value. Radio's free. That's why it's not newspaper or honestly local TV. That's why it's going to, I think, always be around. So if it's always going to be around, then I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And Kansas City is the best place to do it. And I've been spoiled, man. I had mentors like Jay Cooper, who was a part of the very first ever morning show in Kansas City on KY 102, Dick and Jay in the morning, and then had a chance to be mentored by some great folks at The Buzz, my guy Laszlo and Slim Fast. And by the way, names like that on the radio is why you love radio.
Yes.
Folks like Laz and Slim, and people think that Hartzell's fake. No, that is my Christian name, my friends.
It's on a birth certificate.
It is on the birth certificate, but it's making friends just through word of mouth, and that's not even the way. I don't know if we have words for it. It's just hanging out with your city.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, because again, it is weird, and there is an ego to it, man. Right? Like, you can't.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, everything that I was mentioning, like wanting to leave a mark here, wanting to do X and X and X, to just say that by itself and in the sentence there makes you an egotist.
Right.
And that is and there is that slippery slope, man. Like,
yeah.
And I'm part owner of a professional wrestling company, Journey Pro, and heels have more fun. The bad guys are the heels. Heels have more fun, but faces make more friends. Ooh. And at the end of the day, which would you rather be?
Ooh.
And I think that radio, especially this idea of radio is, especially like the gimmicks and the Sterns of the world. Every market's got the Stern and the sports and the, it's and the orthodontist music that your mom listens to.
Right.
I think there's still importance to that because I'm a romantic, but also I think faces have more fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I want to be able to go to a bar in Kansas City and have a drink with my city and not have to feel like I pissed somebody off that day. Because at the end of the day, I didn't mean to make you mad. I just wanted to make you feel.
Yeah.
And there's no better place to feel in Kansas City.
Why do you I'm not going to force sports into the conversation too much, but you talk about the heel in the face. Like, sports media is filled with people who play the heel.
Life is professional wrestling. And that's the thing. Everybody thinks they're a heel, but most folks are really bad at being a heel because here's what most bad guys forget. That to make a good heel, you can't just S all over the guy you're going after. You have to also acknowledge that the good guys are good at what they do. Like, to make a good bad guy a bad guy, he has to have a little inch of truth in there that you're like, oh, he's got a point. But to make that good guy a good guy, you have to acknowledge that he is, in fact, got it going on.
Right.
And so many bad guys in media want to be bad guys and, don't understand that it's a dance. It's putting each other over. And I think sometimes we're more focused on putting just myself over.
I was thinking about this earlier today. I had a tweet like half written. I'm trying to tweet less. I think anything that's not
that is a
joke,
fool's errand, my friend.
If it's not a joke, I probably shouldn't tweet it. But I don't know how much First Take is in your life. It's the penultimate sports debate show anywhere across television.
Absolutely.
Originally Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. So Skip went and got a huge bag of money at FS1, and since then that show has been different, and I feel like they've been trying to figure out, hey, who's going to pair with Skip Bayless? And again, this is something that I actually thought we might talk about on the show tonight. So we found a sports thing.
I love it, and I love it. Yeah, keep going.
So
keep going.
The thing that they've done recently is there is Chris Mad Dog Russo. Mike and the Mad Dog was a New York radio show that's.
And again, remember, I'm a sucker for the business, so you.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going. I love this stuff. I love it.
You cannot tell the story of sports radio anywhere without talking about Mike and the Mad Dog.
Yep.
Well, today a clip was going around where they were trying to have some argument about Aaron Rodgers, and Mad Dog literally was like falling out of his chair, and his chair was like scooting away, going, "What's going on with the chair? I can't. What am I supposed to do with this chair?" And what I realized in that moment, there have been a couple moments of Chris Russo being there across from Stephen A., where they're both doing the yelling about a sports opinion thing. But both of them, you can see in that interaction, a smirk shows up. Mm-hmm. Skip Bayless does that bleep with a furrowed brow. Yep. Skip Bayless does that with anger, and he does that to talk his bleep, and he does it in a way that makes you feel bad watching it. I don't love argument television. Watching Stephen A. and Mad Dog do it, the clips that I have seen have been so good because they know it's wrestling. They know it's pro wrestling.
It's a dance.
And it's a dance. And they're having fun with it. You can see them. You know they're having fun, and they're happy to be there, as opposed to just a couple of grouchy guys yelling at each other.
It's poetry in motion in real time. That's why, I hope we're not getting too, behind the curtain, but I do love this stuff. And I think if you present it in the right way like you do, radio is still fun. The idea of communicating with folks who you don't even know, and they're going to listen to you, and on the spot they either agree with what you got saying, don't agree with it, or want to hear what else you got to say about it.
Yes.
To me, it's a dance. It's a dance with the audience, and that's why it's a dance to find that right co-host, that right producer, that right person who's a correspondent once a week. It's all about the dance of it all, and if you do the dance right, then you know that the music was sweet, and that's why folks keep coming. And I don't want to sound like an ego guy because, we were trying to say that's not a good thing, but I was on my phone all day, and it's been a really good social media day for me. And it's been so wonderful seeing Kansas City and 810 listeners who I can't wait to get to know, and also folks who have known along the way. It kind of took off, and it was awesome. I say all that. There were comments. The majority of them were, what a perfect fit. This makes so much sense. I love this. I love this. No one has heard me say a sports take yet in my life.
Right.
Not a one.
Right.
But
we've heard you yell sporting names.
I just say the word.
That's right.
That's it. And add an ing. But for some reason, they're right, and I know it's right. This is the perfect fit. And because Kansas City is the fit. And sports is always just a mirror of real life. It's a story of us, and sometimes We're going to like what we see. We're going to say that, yep, that's on track. Sometimes we're going to think about what we see. Sometimes we're not going to like it at all.
Yep.
But we can't say it's not a mirror.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is. And maybe it's time, maybe that means that we can take a look at ourselves. We can take a look at something with our folks. Maybe we're just going to watch the game.
Yeah.
But guess what? That is also a mirror in itself, because that's community. That's solidarity. That's me wanting to do a thing with somebody else, someone else. And I think that, again, at the end of the day, this is a story of us. And, no one's heard me do sports before. And in my entire run, I may retire at 8'10", and you may not hear one single sports take. But I will guarantee you this, we're going to have a good time. And I think that we've got something really special. And I think that maybe right now we need it more than ever.
Yeah.
Not my voice, not even a combination. I'm not even saying I'm involved in what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the idea of that fireside chat that we can then take, not just between the hours of such and such, but then we can carry that conversation to the different avenues, the Twitches, the Twitters, the Facebooks. And I know it's gross, but also don't forget that I first met Josh Brisco through social media. I've got nothing but gigs and gigs and gigs off of, again, it's not always great. To quote Star Wars, it is a scum of hive and villainy sometimes. Yes. But if we can use that as a way to continue the conversation, especially if it's a Kansas City conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
All of those social media platforms are all beautiful until they are actively fought by the people that choose to engage in poor faith through them. Because, again, I feel like, I literally just said, I'm trying to tweet less. Because if I tweet any serious opinion, or frankly, if I tweet a whole category of jokes, someone's going to yip at me about something or something else. And those people really, I'll be honest, that drains on you, because it's just like, okay, well, so what's the point of me floating that out there?
Well,
but
it's
also,
tough, man, because, and I don't want to cut you off, but before you beat yourself up too much, you got to remember that what we do is who we are, and this is not us talking about each other or ourselves too much, but it is this weird world where so much of social media is a bit of a new persona that you want to put out there, but for what we do, well, we got to make the one we've got work.
Yep.
And so sometimes we even put that into overdrive, to be honest. And then when you get clapped back or you get kind of anything or whatever, it's not so much they didn't like the take.
Right.
It's like, well, if you didn't like the take came from me, and that's the character, but that's also me. But where's that line,
Yep.
And so then you fall into this really bad spot where you lose yourself.
Yes.
Listen, I've been hospitalized. 2017. Tried to take my own life, man, because I lost myself. And then you just can't see anymore. You don't even know who you are, where you're going. And I'm not going to pretend like every day is great sense, but, it is, as I think part of why you want to take this break is for your mental health. And, that's another part of this whole thing that we're doing together as we're having this reckoning with ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been through a lot in the last 2 years, and we are reckoning with that on the field, off the field, from mental to physical to public health to personal responsibility to insert topic. We have lived so much life together. We have done so much history together in just the last couple years, man. I'm excited. If this is a long walk to put a period on this, I am excited to do life and do even more history with you, my brother, and to all these great folks here. And it's on 810, and that's something I've been wanting to say for a long time. And
it's
that's
good
dope.
to hear. So, because the other side of the coin for me is that all of that is all so true, right? And again, if you get to a point where everything gets internalized to yourself personally, you're walking down a dark path there before you even realize it. Yeah. But the thing that I have to remind myself is, like Rudy said during the break, that the Twitch chat was very excited to have you here.
That's great.
Man, the people that we have in the Twitch chat during the show, I've met a couple of them, and Rudy's occasionally forgetting who he hasn't met from the Twitch chat. That's kind of a deep cut. But I
met them all.
I want to be careful here because there's some parasocial stuff, but man, I have so much love for the people that are in our Twitch chat because those people are here for it, and and again, being here for the content. Maybe they shouldn't all get internalized, but it feels like being here for you, right? There is something wonderful, and again, it comes through Twitter all the time. You want to talk about, good social media day for you. I a few months ago woke up from a near-death experience to find hundreds of people, maybe for the first time, telling me how much they enjoy my work or my energy or me being around or what, all sorts of things. That's like, holy, that's an overwhelming thing to have sort of sat on top of you.
Let's normalize that, by the way.
Yes.
Let's give folks their flowers while they're still here.
Blair Kirchhoff
it's so much
returns.
easier to S on something, but hey, if you enjoyed something, maybe say that was dope.
Yes.
It's okay to say that was cool.
Blair Kirchhoff from the Star, he kind of disappeared for a few months, and maybe it was a little less than a few months when he first said he's been dealing with a rare form of leukemia. He put out a new podcast with the Star guys today, man. Blair Kirchhoff
How great was that? That was great to see, right?
Incredible. And just like one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. And the real shame for Blair is he's got to compete with Vahe right across the desk from him as another one of the nicest people I've ever met. And again, like you said, man, I hope people get to have that experience that I got to have, and I got to have it at
think
age
about
26. That's bad for my ego.
Think about that. Just to open it up. I mean, you had folks that gave a damn to want to check in on you.
Yep.
And we should do more of that. And we got to normalize that, by the way. But it was a huge response, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas City, we take care of, I'm not going to say our own, but we just, if you're within that city limits, man, we got you, I think. Like you talked about Blair, you talked about, Vahe. Like, we have also in this town institutions of folks who, you know what? When I need to know that thing, I know that when I get it, when I read it, when I hear it, including from folks like you, my brother, like, I'm going to get what I need to know, and it's vital what you all do. I am not a journalist. I'm not even a college graduate. I went to Mizzou. I ran track at UMKC. So, yeah, whenever my friends ask me when I graduated from Mizzou, I say, I am no true son. I am a very true bastard, but I am no son at all. Not at all, but, for some reason we've got this awesome platform, this opportunity, and the people of it all. The people of it all. That's what I keep coming back to. Like, when I go in circles and say something that makes no sense from a sports perspective whatsoever, just know that maybe we still got something special. Because, again, I am that guy at the reunion who also made that ridiculous take that no one wants to talk about. Right. No one wants to say it at the table. Right. But, like, that somebody has to do it.
You said something earlier that I actually think kind of clicked for me. My guess as to why people see you joining Sports Radio 810 despite having done no sports radio. Like, oh, it's perfect, right? Here's my theory. You have so much of, here's a real dangerous word, your brand, right? So much of what people know about you, to put it in a way that's less corporate. So much of what people know about you is how you feel about this city and the community that comes with all of that, and being here for those people, for this city, all of that. You say we all are craving community and that sports exist as a mirror. The reason that sports are what they are is not that we just love watching awesome athletes. We see that all the time. There are great athletes in sports we don't care about. Athletes we watch only during the Olympics because we can wave a flag because of the community that it builds. It's why having the Kansas City Royals, Chiefs, Sporting Kansas City, whatever, like having the city names in your team name is so important, because it's something we can all get a little identity from and also be there for each other on. You could walk around just about any spot on this, any spot in these city limits, and you can ask somebody what they think about Patrick Mahomes, and there's going to be an answer. It's going to vary from person to person.
I mean, the World Series run. The World Series run. You go to the airport.
Yes.
And when you were having a good time at the airport, in fact, when the workers of KCI are all smiling collectively,
yes,
you got something sweet. And that was the World Series run. And, again, we're just kind of built different. If that makes any sense. It's and I'm not doing that just to fluff Kansas City. I'm meaning that in that it's a really interesting little spot and a beautiful little city on a hill, I guess, in the plains. Right. That is Kansas City, because especially now we've got so much new development and so much tech, and downtown I think I saw recently 33% increase in the last census, and a lot of that is young people. That's excellent. Let's make sure we take care of the east side as well. That's also part of this new normal that I hate that word because it's inherently just an irony.
Yeah.
But in this life that we are living, I kind of feel like it's hyper-local. I think it's supporting the homies that you supported through COVID as we continue through it. But it's the ones that support it. Maybe also some of the folks who feel bad for not supporting the homies in the last 24 months. Maybe they got a little guilt, and maybe they want to, they want to, make up for what even they would consider, we let you down, or you know what, we just couldn't do it this time, but we're going to try to do it next time. And I think it's also folks who maybe were indifferent to the whole thing, but what they do remember and what they do want to come out of it with is that hyper-local messenger.
Yeah.
And I think so that there's a through line to all this stuff. I think it's hyper-local. So, I love my town. I love Kansas City, and I lean on Kansas City because, like I said, to do all this stuff and to want to achieve what I want to achieve on my own, and maybe this is the way I look at life. I don't know. I'm someone that I don't do well with compliments like that. So for me, I want to do all these things, and you can tell me I'm really good at these things, but I get uncomfortable with that. So if I can do a thing for someone, so I can throw a big event at our wrestling show at Journey Pro, we can have a show at Lemonade Park in the Bottoms that sells out, but also have a mass vaccination event at the same thing. That's cool. Like, for me, that I can even that out.
Yeah.
It's like, I did a dope thing, but also I did a dope thing for
somebody else, for the city.
Yeah, and maybe that's just my own thought process, but
it's how you care about how you're using your platform. Like, it's not you have an issue somewhere in that brain of, if I get too self-serving, I'm not going to be happy with myself.
Yeah, my therapist,
okay.
my therapist and I are really trying to work through that. We have some complexes to dig through. Kansas City.
Sure, but there's probably something good in there. There's something honest, something giving.
It's
in
enough
there.
for me to keep coming back every week. I know that.
Yeah, look,
that's what I know for a fact.
That's good. You want to come back for another segment here in a second? We take a break now. I got other questions.
Oh,
for you.
I ain't ready to leave. No chance. You got me stuck now. I'm here.
All right, we're going to keep Hartzell around for a little bit. We'll take a break here. We're broadcasting live from Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. All of this brought to you by Whataburger, Gutter Cover KC, X Golf Leewood, Core First Bank, CBD American Shaman, and Miller Lights. Hartzell's out here on Miller Lite, 2.5?
Would you stop it? This is my first day, Joshua.
I still haven't. I have not had a beer since becoming diabetic.
Neither have I. Since your announcement that you were good to go, I also quit until right now.
No, my thought process is I'm going to grab myself. I don't know if it's tonight, tomorrow night. It's certainly going to be Friday. I'm going to find out how many carbs in one of those cans of those suckers, and I'm going to take care of it.
I have questions that I want to ask you about this. I really want to dig into this with you.
Okay, let's
next
do
segment.
that. Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah, sure. I've got one question. I'm going to write down.
Is there a threshold you have to be below? I want to know these answers. I'm sorry. I have to know.
I've written down one word that I'm covering up with my little wireless mouse so you can't see it, because I want to ask you something about one word that I've written on this paper.
Excellent.
And I want to take your questions.
Excellent.
We'll do that with Hartzell of Sports Radio 810 WHB whenever we come back.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Oh, it does.
Ooh.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Hedgepath with Quad Power Products. We know that time is money, and we pride ourselves in getting our customers back up and running quickly. At Quad Power Products, we can duplicate your hydraulic hose assemblies while you wait, in most cases getting you back out the door in 15 minutes or less. We have an excellent inventory of hydraulic hoses, quick couplers, and adapters, and we pair it with the best customer service. Come see us today, Quad Power Products on Hickman Mills Drive, just south of the Triangle in South Kansas City.
Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia has extended their 90-day money-back guarantee. So if you're looking to buy a new vehicle like the 2022 Kia Telluride, Seltos, or Sportage, buy from Brogdon. If you don't love it, return it, no matter what the mileage, and they'll refund you 100% of the purchase price. But if you do love it, you've got a great vehicle with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Drive with confidence in a new Kia. Shop OlatheKia.com or stop by. Just a short drive from I-35. Customer must register vehicle. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
More energy, better sleep, and so much happier. 40 pounds lighter and still going strong. Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness has changed my life. 2 words, guys. It works. Tell your friends, tell your wife, tell anyone who wants to lose some weight and live a better life. Call or stop by for a free consultation. Mention 810 and get $100 off your startup fee. Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness, 117th and Row in Leewood, or call 913-227-9150. Life is better with the feather.
Hello, Missouri. Switching to Geico is a good idea, especially when you consider everything.
First off, Geico makes it easy to switch, and you can contact your local agent for personalized assistance.
But if it's so easy, you might start thinking everything is easy, even big wave surfing. And it's not. It's actually quite difficult.
Well, if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds on car insurance. And you could keep saving by bundling your motorcycle, boat, and RV, plus your home or renter's insurance.
But saving money might lead you to make some questionable purchases, like a 20-foot feather boa. And do you know how hard it is to clean a 20-foot feather boa?
Well, they do have an industry-leading mobile app you can use to pay your bill, file and manage a claim, or add a new driver.
But when life gets a little easier, it makes you too confident, and you start calling everyone Ace. And you're better than that.
Well, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been saving people money for 85 years. It's hard to beat that.
But you're right.
Switch to Geico. It's obviously a good idea.
Imagine every day a sport court game day. Imagine looking outside your kitchen window. Today's game is being played in your backyard. You know all the players' names, stats, and history. You've created the ultimate backyard with a sport court game court. And even though the visiting team comes from 3 blocks away, all the players have a home court advantage. Call Sport Court today and turn your imagination into reality. 913-963-7529 or visit sportcourt.com. Sports Radio 810 WHB is taking over the Power and Light District again during the Big 12 tournament for the Miller Lite Fan Fest. Come out and get ready for the games with pep rallies, giveaways, huge contests, and more. You can watch all the games on the big screen at KC Live and check out the games in great sports bars like McFadden's and Johnny's. Make your plans now for the return of the Miller Lite Fan Fest, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Kansas City, you're on the clock. Jason Anderson here from MainStreetPreowned.com. If you've been looking for a used vehicle, MainStreetPreowned.com has it. All brands, over 500 used vehicles are available at MainStreetPreowned.com. Every used car, truck, and SUV comes with dealer cash rebates up to $2,000 just in time to pay off those credit cards from the holidays. They make the process easy, and they've got your vehicle now because they turn over the inventory every 15 days. MainStreetPreowned.com. That's MainStreetPreowned.com.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Z-Man says, hottest dudes on Twitch. Yep. Hottest takes on sports. Nope. Excellent sports talk. Yep. Entirely sports. Nope. Slim chickens. Yep. Baked potato. Nope.
With Joshua Brisco.
And I don't really know what that's about, but I do look forward to being confused about that liner in 3 weeks.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We're still live from P&L, broadcasting live from Guy Fieri's Dive and Taco Joint, the house that Guy Fieri built.
I mean, the foundation is strong.
It really, the
strong
energy,
foundation,
incredible. Guy. The foundation, incredible. I made this joke earlier to Sterling, and he stole it, which is fair. I feel like a rotisserie chicken out here, like we're just under these heating lights, you know?
And honestly, I feel like that's almost so on the nose it's intentional.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, no.
Right? We can agree.
Take a lap around this later. You can see there's like a front half of a pig and then an antelope mounted on the wall over there.
Oh, this is, yeah, absolutely. And so if that's the case, then we're doing pretty well.
No, the vibe in here is
it's exactly where we should be in that case.
It is perfect for Guy Fieri. It is perfect for P&L. It is perfect for Almost Entirely Sports. It's perfect for Hartzell Gray. He's here. He works for 810 now. I'm really excited about it.
When you said here, I thought maybe you were talking about Flavortown because I had not gotten that. I hadn't got my contract yet from Guy, and
yeah, we could work on that.
I'm guessing that's lost in the dark web. I'm guessing.
I don't know. I feel like we can make a push for it. He's the mayor of Flavortown. I've often said that I just like to be the Parks and Rec director of Flavortown. Like if I could just get if I could just get a business card from Flavortown, I don't even really care what it is. I'd like to be on a board somewhere.
And this was not a listen. I'm a man of the people, so I was named mayor of the West Bottoms. Now I was self-appointed, named by myself. That's true. But now I've since taken a hike up and around the corner, so I am now, while I retain my title of mayor of the West Bottoms, I've now taken on the responsibility of Prime Minister of Westside. So if you all need anything, send those to somebody else.
Yeah, because you get like an honorary doctorate or whatever, but it doesn't mean you can go do surgery, you know?
You get me.
I get it,
That's
man.
the best analogy I've heard for any topic all day. That was perfect.
I'm ready for an analogy at any time. I don't know. This is something we could dig into. That's maybe not serious enough for a therapist, but maybe perfect for a late night radio show. Why do I have an analogy for everything?
Because we paint pictures. They can't see us, Joshua Brisco, so we got to paint that picture for them. Especially if they're driving, they're trying to go 10-2. They don't remember what that exit is that they probably just passed. So as all that is going on, we have to still paint that picture, those happy accidents.
That's right.
We have to put that. The canvas is, I guess, in a sense, the canvas is Kansas City. If you think about it.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Wow, did we just get existential?
Oh, not yet.
On a hump day?
You give me. I didn't even know it was Wednesday until you said that. I forgot what day of the week it was. I know I had a show tonight. I got a show tomorrow night, and I'm at a show on Sunday.
Yep.
And we just got. I just think about what days I have shows, and if there's enough in a row where I know I have them.
Yep.
Days of the week don't matter anymore.
Yep. Gig upon gig upon gig.
You wanted to grill me on something last segment. I've got my secret word hidden underneath my wireless microphone. We'll get to it some point. What do you know about me here? You're speaking on behalf of the audience now.
I think we all now, since you've made your triumphant return, we are so happy to have you back. We love you, brother.
So happy to be here.
And I think that we all would like to collectively give you a nice welcome back party.
Okay.
So I think what we are sometimes concerned about as we are trying to plan this totally not surprise party is we don't know what are our lanes. Can you have this? Can you drink that? What is? By the way, you look beautiful. By the way, I haven't seen you since. I haven't seen you since. God, I haven't seen you since.
Could have been a year. We bounced around out here for a little bit last year.
It's been a year. At least.
I think it's been at least
a year. You
Absolutely.
look great, brother. So I guess that's what we want to make sure. We want to make sure that we can do it right and do it right.
So first thing I'll say, I lost like 40 pounds while my body did not know what to do with the carbohydrates I was giving it.
Oh boy.
This is not a diet plan that I would suggest to anybody. I would not endorse this one. I was drinking a lot of water. I was losing weight. Also, my body was actively rebelling against me. Not something I would suggest. But
You were the empire in this situation.
That's right. I would not suggest that to anybody, but keeping it off so far, and also here's another quick little diet tip. You find yourself maybe eating too many carbs, too much sugar. Just tell yourself that to eat carbs or sugar, you have to stick a needle into your belly, and it really makes you recalibrate how much you want that bowl of cereal.
You have shown so much growth, my brother.
It really.
This sentence would never have happened in the old normal.
That's true.
It sure would not have.
It's absolutely true. So that was, but even that recently. So here's where we get real nerdy, and I've made this point on this show many times. That I don't open the show every day and think I'm going to have a segment where I talk about diabetes, but I have it, and so it's around me all the time. So eventually, it's going to come up every single show.
That's the card you can play that I can't play.
Yeah, I have that one.
That's a flex.
That's my one.
That's a flex, brother.
My one. Are you sure? Card is that one. But, so I have recently started with the Omnipod. So you can't see it because I got it on my leg right now. It's about the size of my AirPods, like AirPods case. It just sticks to your leg. It's got a little cannula that it shoots in there, sticks on for 3 days. You take it off, put on a new one every 3 days.
So you don't have to do a whole lot.
I don't have to. It's been crazy.
Oh, that's excellent.
So I have to load up that pod every 3 days.
You have an app for this?
But I have. So this is basically a little Android phone with one app on it. So I can go in here now. I can hit this little button.
Oh, hold on. That's not your phone. This is a whole different device.
This is a PDM.
This is amazing.
Now the next version of this pod, which just got cleared by the FDA like a couple of weeks ago, where it's getting consumer markets very, very soon.
Big fan of where this is headed.
They've got they have an Android app. They don't have it for iPhone yet. It's coming, and also it will do some auto adjusting on some stuff. It's gonna be great. Right now, I am great value Tony Stark. Like I have some really crappy technology keeping me alive.
Does it at least? Okay. Does the center part at least light up?
None of it lights up.
None of it lights up. Okay.
I can work on that. I can add that though. I'm new
is the suit at least a shade of red? I know it's not going to be the perfect crimson that it's supposed to be, but is at least a kind of shade of red?
So the branding on the Dexcom is like a nice lime green, and the Omnipod branding is like a really vibrant orange.
Okay,
and
close
I feel
enough.
like I can work within that color scheme.
Ty goes to the runner. That's totally fine. That plays, Josh. That plays.
So now in this universe, as long as I have enough insulin in the pod or whatever, there's some stuff I got to keep an eye on. But I can put however many carbs I'm going to have. Let's say I'm really going to get wacky with it. Let's say I'm going to have a 90 carb meal. I'm having a burger and some fries, okay?
Is it your birthday?
It's my birthday.
It's his birthday.
I'm having this is my birthday.
It's going to be a good night. It's going to have itself a nice hearty meal.
This is me going to Whataburger, opening new locations throughout the Kansas City area.
Man, hell of a pro right there. That's how you transition, y'all.
So I'm going to go hit up Whataburger. I'll drop in a little 90 carbs there, and then I'll put in whatever my blood sugar is right now. Let's give everybody an update. 125, that's actually great. I had pizza earlier.
So that is based off the app. So you just got your blood pressure and your blood sugar based off of what's already connected?
Put that right there.
Oh,
All of a sudden it tells me you want me to go ahead and send that, and I don't right now because if I did take 6 units of insulin, you would have to host a show for me while I went back over to that pizza place and had 3 slices of pizza.
Can I pause you just for a second?
But
Science is dope.
Unbelievable.
And let's not I know it's been a wild few months.
Unbelievable.
But, knowledge is awesome. Technology is amazing.
Yes.
And, what you just showed me, I didn't even know we were there yet.
So here's what it is. So I've got the Dexcom, and I've got it. This is not FDA approved, and I'm not a doctor.
We don't play one on TV.
No doctors being played or anything.
We might podcast as one, though.
I'll think about it for sure.
Yeah.
I got my Dexcom in my leg. It's got to go in some tissue that's got a little bit of fat around there. I got plenty of that all over the place.
No, that's just
baby
boy. That's just calf muscle.
It's just right up here. We got a little thigh meat. We got a little dark meat right here.
Because you never missed leg day.
Never once.
And it came back to now help you. See,
my
those extra sets.
My genetics that forced me to wear husky jeans as a child now make sure that I never have to even think about leg day. My legs
Why
are
did we
ready.
do that? By the way,
them
why
Huskies?
did we call them Huskies?
I don't because calling them fat ass kid jeans was even worse for your
I would argue that you know
mental-
what? I appreciate the bluntness of it all.
Yeah.
Huskies is what are you trying to say there?
Just measure them. We now know pants right now. It can be a 36 by 30
What
or
a
something.
concept! Just put the number of the size.
We're already doing that. Also, women's pant sizes just start at 0, I guess.
I've been trying.
That seems messed up.
I have been trying to understand that for decades now. I don't get it. My girlfriend, she thrifts, and so sometimes we share.
Yeah.
And I haven't got the perfect number that correlates with my hips don't lie. So
No,
I just got to
not.
try to find that right sweet spot. But yeah, no. Anyway, I'm sorry. We took a walk, but
No, I
Huskies
love that
was
walk.
so bad.
So bad, man.
To the boomers who are listening, and I mean that with the most respect because my parents are boomers, and
Yeah.
without them, there's no Hartzell.
No, they did a pretty good job getting us here.
Why did we think Huskies was a thing?
There's no way that's still
Do
marketed
you
that
know
way,
how
right?
many sad kids you put into this earth?
Yes.
They just trying to go for the new Easter outfit, and they had to see Husky everywhere they go. Do better, insert Bitcorp.
It looks like Husky. If you search Husky jeans, you're gonna find some.
Still,
it's just a bad
you know
word,
what?
man.
We just have no growth in this country. I tell you what, this country.
We're figuring it out here because everybody sells slim fit jeans.
Of which
okay?
I'm wearing some now.
So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Just sell slim fit and then regular jeans, and the Husky kids will figure it out.
I do like the idea.
Slim fit jeans were not made for me. I'm okay with that.
I love the idea of telling us the cut of jean. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yes.
But other than that, just start from the bottom and work your way up. I
Yes,
mean,
right.
we seem to go from left to right. So
Yeah.
you start at the smallest on the left and the big one on the right.
Yep.
Let's just cut out the semantics of it. Husky?
Husky.
We thought Husky
was good for our children.
And they're just trying to show up and get that nice Easter suit. They're just trying to look nice for the first day of school, and they have to be reminded as the summer is ending that, oh, by the way, just as we're getting ready to send you to summer camp, here's some Husky jeans to wear as you're about to hang out with a bunch of other kids who aren't going to all judge you for anything. What? The 80s were wild. Just wild.
Definitely into the aughts because you're putting on those jeans every day to go to class, and you're going to sit across from that girl that you're thinking maybe we'll see where things go. I'm young, I'm confused, maybe. But you know what's not going to help? Me getting up every morning and being told by my pants that I'm Husky.
What were we thinking? You know what? You make another great analogy. Think how many kids would have had such a much better summer camp experience if we had just ditched the Husky.
Just say, no kid is ever like, hey, you've got a 30-whatever inch waist. They don't know what that means.
They
They're
don't know what that
kids.
means.
But, oh, hey, Husky.
See, by us inserting that into the wardrobe lexicon, we
that to the kids.
Oh, the unintended consequences. Oh, my God. When they make the documentary on the things that we let happen because Husky became a type of I fear how history will judge us based off of the Husky label.
Yeah, because it's not just the
I fear
fashion
for that,
of it,
yeah.
right? Because
And we deserve what we get, too.
Have to take it.
We
have
deserve
to take it. And you know what's important is that we take up this cause, and this is actually, thank you, Hartzell, this is whenever I am now going to announce the beginning of my foundation. No more Husky. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with the dogs, and that is a real point of contention for some folks on the internet. I said my new foundation is called No More Huskies. And it's spelled Huskys, not IES.
And
but
that
again,
gets buzz. That gets buzz. That's smart.
It does.
That's smart.
It
People,
does.
the eyes will. Oh, no more Huskies. This guy's a radical.
But the issue then is people that are really on board with the cause have tweeted in pictures of their Husky dog running away. Like, hey, I set my Husky free. You're welcome.
No.
Where do I donate? It's like no.
There is a strong possibility of it getting co-opted. But if we can, but here's the thing. But if we have the right folks behind the Kansas City, you're listening to this right now. If we can get this movement started, hashtag it, straight flexing, send it straight to the gram. That's Instagram for those kids. I used to say kids ask your parents, but parents ask your kids.
That's right.
What we are going to do is we're going to get Husky out of here.
Out of here.
Husky hit the bricks.
Done.
That's the hashtag. Hit the bricks.
Hashtag hit the bricks.
Hit
Husky.
the bricks, Husky.
I love it. I think that's fantastic.
That's your title tonight, Josh.
Rudy, write that down. Hit the bricks, Husky with Hartzell.
That's my new show. People keep asking me, Hartzell, what are you going to be doing on 810? I'm like, well, we just workshopped it, ladies and gentlemen.
The issue is that my nightmare as a 12-year-old was having someone come up to me and say, hit the bricks, Husky.
And that is exactly why we're starting this movement. What a beautiful way to circle back to childhood. We mentioned this earlier in the show. This was our therapy session,
yes,
and we did in fact get existential, didn't we?
We did, man. I'm gonna have a stress stream
boy.
tonight for sure. For sure.
I'm sweating for you.
I know the shirt that I'm wearing in this stress stream. I can picture a shirt that I wore in middle school. I was homeschooled too. My mom was bullying me.
I'm just worried for not the dream itself, not even you going to sleep. It is you having to come to grips with this tomorrow morning.
Yes.
That's mostly what I'm worried about is, oh, dear, I opened up things that you had suppressed for years.
But that's okay. You gotta get that out of there eventually.
I'm so sorry.
Real quick, Rudy, can we make this the last segment of this hour? Can you shuffle things around? I know you're all-knowing and powerful behind the curtain. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we can just ride this out into the end of the hour when Rudy tells us to wrap it up. I got on a real big cleaning kick yesterday. It just been I had not done much general house cleaning. And
Are you someone that likes to clean before the storms?
No, totally.
Because that is a thing.
unrelated.
I've realized with my girlfriend that is a thing. She likes to clean before big weather events.
Because you're going to be stuck inside and everything. No, it's unrelated for me to the weather going on. Although I'm sure I would appreciate it if I guess I'm not going to be stuck at home tomorrow. I'm going to be out here tomorrow, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But there's just some stuff I had to clean out. There's a whole area in our pantry that goes back 6 feet. I got in there with a Swiffer. I was pulling out plastic bags. We have 3 full trash bags full of plastic grocery bags now that I got to find somewhere to go recycle them or whatever. Because we get grocery bags and they take 10 billion years to ultimately break down. So just kept them in there. You reuse them and I'll recycle them eventually. The number of grocery bags we had was shocking, and it was great for me to get that out of there, clean out all that stuff shoved back there, and then got to use it to store actual drinks and stuff.
Can I just be honest
with you?
Let me be honest with you for a second. I heard what you said up until a certain point.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have 6-foot walk-in closets. So hold on. You have some type of kitchen access.
You slipped into Bill Cosby again there.
Oh my God! It's a slippery slope. So if I'm processing this right, you've got yourself a closet in the kitchen, how long? 6 feet. 6 feet. So what I'm saying is, people say that radio is dead, sports radio is this or that. Josh Brisco at night has a 6 feet deep kitchen closet. What do they call that? I'm not familiar. I don't have such access. And usually I know some folks in the suburbs put their food in there, their snacks, their non-perishables.
Right,
what do they call those things?
I'm going to draw
cupboard. Is it a cupboard?
I'm drawing you a thing. So here's what I found out after we moved into this house. landlord who was like, we have a minute left. The landlord.
God, someone explain construction and kitchenware to me.
The landlord had actually, that was garage. He knocked out the wall and made it an expanded kitchen. So now you get a couple little stairs into the pantry, and you have all this pantry space. It's incredible.
A pantry?
And stuff.
That is the word.
It's awesome. So
I was looking for pantry. I am doomed.
So you have stairs here, okay? Stairs
What
go
happened
2
to
steps
me?
up, shelving, and then there's this area that goes over the stairs that go down into the basement. But this area is not a full. You have to like stretch out over it. It's like several feet up
What is
off
this
the ground.
walk? Listen, you elitist
And
snob.
this is where the light is that goes down into the stairway. It's all renovated.
You
like
have a
making the most of-
stairway?
It's made out of stone. It goes in the basement. It's unfinished.
You think you know a guy until you work with a guy, and here we are. Here we are.
You want to come over and look at my kitchen sometime, Hartzell?
I would love to pack your
Hartzell Gray
pantry.
of Sports Radio.
Don't
810
pull that audio
WHB.
ever.
Pull that audio.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, it's Rick. I'm at the Smith home. Where's Donnie?
Leaves and autumn bookings pile up for Rick's gutter cleaning service.
He's out? Come on.
He needs help before his bottom line gets clogged.
Okay, well, what about Cristiano? We still got 6 houses today.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
Call 913-243-3200. That's 913-243-3200. 913-243-3200. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
Kansas City basketball fans, it's time to get your tickets for the 2022 NAI Men's Basketball National Championship. The first day of action is Thursday, March 17, so break out your green and head to Municipal Auditorium and celebrate St. Patrick's Day with a full slate of national championship action. For tickets, head to NAIHoops.com today. The NAI Men's Basketball National Championship, a Kansas City tradition. Go to NAIHoops.com today for tickets.
For 11 years, Breaking the Norm has presented the best and most uplifting stories in sports, entertainment, and business, and we wouldn't be here without our amazing partners and you, our faithful listeners. Your stories of life change, loving others, and inspiration keep us dedicated to making a difference in the world, one story at a time. Tune in Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on ESPN Kansas City 94.5 FM and Saturday mornings at 7 on Sports Radio 810 WHB for something good, something positive, and something real on Breaking the Norm.
Start your next project today at Menards and save 11% off everything. Put in those kitchen cabinets you've always wanted. Bring new life to your rooms with flooring and paint. Insulate your home and save on energy costs. Add stylish storage with shelving and save with 11% off everything now at Menards. Prices good through Saturday, March 12th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
In sports, we know that great athletes don't rest in the off-season. They train year-round. The same holds true in our business. This is Larry Ryan with Ryan Lawn and Tree. Did you know a lot of lawn companies lay off their crews for the winter? not Ryan. Our full-time Ryan pros have been working and training during the off-season, studying the latest science about your lawns, trees, and landscapes. And while those other guys are starting from scratch, trying to hire new replacements, our employee owners are cross-training each other so that this year, like every year, no one can do a better job of taking care of your entire outdoor environment than Ryan. Call today or visit RyanLawn.com for a free estimate. One of our college-educated Ryan pros will be right out in a clean red truck. And by the way, if you or someone you know would love a great outdoor career as a full-time employee owner instead of a seasonal part-timer, consider Ryan Lawn and Tree. Our mission is to provide great careers. Learn more at RyanLawn.com.
Join Union Broadcasting in thanking local companies that care. Companies That Care is an effort to let you know about local companies giving back to our community. Union Broadcasting salutes Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Shamrock Roofing and Construction is proud to support Cars for Heroes, giving away over 300 cars a year to veterans and first responders in need of transportation. You can donate a car and learn more about Cars for Heroes by visiting their website at carsforheroes.org. Thank you to Shamrock Roofing and Construction for being a company that cares.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC Barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com.
At Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC, your car buying experience just got better. Not only do they have the best selection around, they're offering 90-day money-back guarantee on new vehicle purchases. That's right, buy any new Buick or GMC from Brogdon, and if you're not completely satisfied, return it for a full refund. From the 2022 GMC Yukon and Sierra 1500 Limited to the Buick Encore GX, now is the time to buy. Visit robertbrogdon.com or stop by I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe. Customer must register vehicle. See dealer for details.
All month long, Hog Wild for Hoops is back at Zarda Barbecue. Dine in, drive through, or carry out our Hog Wild sandwich. Thinly sliced ham, fresh pulled pork, melted provolone, and 2 strips of bacon on a toasted Roma bun for just $7.99. And we'll throw in a side of Zarda's award-winning burnt-end beans for free. Come to Zarda Barbecue today for our Hog Wild sandwich. Available for a limited time with a side of burnt-end beans for only $7.99. Zarda Barbecue, come get some.
The NAI Men's Basketball National Championship is just around the corner on March 17th through 22nd, downtown at Municipal Auditorium. 15 games over the course of 5 days as we crown the 84th NAI Men's Basketball National Champion. Catch all of the excitement as single-day tickets start at just $20. For ticket and championship information, go to NAIHoops.com today. The NAI Men's Basketball National Championship, a Kansas City tradition. Go to NAIHoops.com today for tickets.
You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810, WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
Your exclusive home of Championship Week. Sports Radio 810, WHB. Sports Radio 810 WHB is bringing you a full week of college basketball action. We'll have exclusive live play-by-play of the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City, plus the SEC, the Big 10, ACC, Pac-12, and Missouri Valley Championships. And it all leads up to Selection Sunday, March Madness, and the Final Four. All right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Live coverage of the Big 12 Basketball Championship from the Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoops Central is presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. By Gutter Cover KC, a first-class product installed with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. For details, go to guttercoverkc.com. By X Golf Leewood, the premier indoor golf and entertainment experience in town. Book your tee time today at xgolfleewood.com. By Core First Bank, you need a team you can count on. Core First Bank, member FDIC. And by CBD American Shaman. CBD American Shaman. Everything is better with the feather.
Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the Big 12 Championship. Get fired up, Kansas City, before you head into the games with the official Team Pep Rallies. Or hang out and watch all the action on the big screen. And you can catch all the latest news with press conferences featuring all the players and coaches, plus live play-by-play from inside T-Mobile Center. It's all right here on your home for the Big 12 Championship, March Madness, and the Final Four. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Spring weather is here. Brighten the road ahead and join the Clean Car Club at Waterway Car Wash. For a limited time, join the area's premier unlimited car wash plan for only $1. Yes, that's right, only $1. At Waterway, they strive to provide their customers with a quick, easy, and quality car wash every time, including their signature hand dry, backed by their happiness guarantee. Wash away winter and stop by Waterway today. Their friendly and dedicated team is ready to brighten your day with a clean car. Go fast, go clean, go happy. Go unlimited for $1 at Waterway Car Wash.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I dream about salary cap stuff at this point. It's really sad.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We're having a lot of fun out here at the Kansas City Power and Light District. It's the Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB, talking a little bit about the Big 12 tournament as it goes on right now. But we are going to go out to the AFC West once again, as we've spent most of our time these last couple of days talking about maybe the division taking on a little bit of a new form. We'll talk about that now with the Broncos' perspective. Zack Kelberman of Mile High Huddle. You can follow him on Twitter at Kelberman NFL. You can also hear him on the Huddle Up podcast. Zack, first of all, thank you for making some time. Second of all, how are you feeling? It's got to be pretty good, right?
I mean, the Broncos traded for Russell Wilson. They finally got off that quarterback carousel. They wandered the desert for so long, and they found water, not a mirage. I'm still kind of basking in that afterglow. It feels good, but I appreciate being on with you guys.
Well, I mean, it really is amazing, right? Because, it obviously for us, you're talking about Patrick Mahomes. When they drafted Patrick Mahomes, there was like this, oh, yes, they finally drafted a guy. And I felt great about Patrick Mahomes, pat myself on the back, tear my rotator cuff. But also, none of us really knew for sure, right? Or you get your MVP season, you go, oh, my goodness, the Chiefs have a guy. But what the Broncos just did is, I love the way that you said it, they traded for Russell Wilson. That means something to anyone who's ever watched football, played fantasy, or turned on a Manning cast. Like, that is a huge swing, ultimately at a price to me that seemed really reasonable for Denver.
I know I'm behind enemy lines, but the whole goal of George Paton, the Broncos general manager, was to compete with Kansas City, get the Broncos back to relevancy, and who better to do that with than Russell Wilson. Guys, I'm looking forward to week one being Broncos-Kansas City, looking to maybe snap that streak against the Chiefs and, let Russell Wilson come out and dominate maybe on prime time. But this is what the Rams proved last year. I hate to be so blunt about it, but F them picks. That's what they proved. They can give away the capital. They can give away the players if it means winning right now. And they went from irrelevant. They went from no one talking about them. They went from being in the basement of the AFC West to the possibility, I hate to say it, guys, to hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, or at least competing for one in the coming months. It's definitely exciting.
And look, I don't want any Chiefs fans within the sound of my voice right now to bristle at that idea, because that's exactly what happened. Look, far from a guarantee. It wasn't a guarantee when the Rams traded for Matt Stafford. Nothing in this sport is ever actually guaranteed, but it is not a laugh line. It is not a literal joke when you say, hey, I think the Broncos might be Super Bowl contenders right now, which is obviously such a huge turn from where they were anytime post-Peyton.
They won 7 games with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater and Vic Fangio and Pat Shurmur last year. They have a win-now roster. They have a defense that was top 5 in scoring. They have many weapons on offense. I think Russell Wilson's coming to a better situation than he had in Seattle under Pete Carroll, under the likes of Brian Schottenheimer. The weapons they have at receiver, at tight end, even after Noah Fant, the running back they have in Javonte Williams, as long as Russell Wilson's healthy and goes back to prior form, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the West and in the entire NFL.
I generally do value draft picks, and I think that there's some interesting stuff there in team roster building. I'm certainly no, absolute diehard on that front. But I look at this trade and go, man, it's just a move that if the Broncos had that offer in front of them and it came out that they didn't take that deal, there would have been riots in the streets, and I might have joined on your behalf. Like that. Obviously, this is a move that they had to make whenever they found out that this deal was there for the taking. But with that being said, any second guessing in terms of the price paid by Denver? Look back at Russell Wilson's last year not being great, post-injury, all of that. Any hesitation at all?
Well, I mean, there's no guarantees in the NFL. Everyone knows that. When you're making a trade of that magnitude, and let's be clear, it's one of the biggest trades in recent NFL history, you're taking on a gamble. What if Russell Wilson snaps his collarbone? Then all those draft picks, all those players you gave up, it's all for naught. But when you look at the trade and break it down, they didn't give up 3 first-round picks like the Commanders offered for Russell Wilson reportedly. They gave up non-foundational players, a quarterback they had no investment in, a tight end that was on his 5th-year option on the way out, and a non-foundational defensive player in Shelby Harris. When you do that and you still have capital in the upcoming draft, and on top of that, Josh, the Broncos netted $12 million in salary cap space by trading those 3 players and taking on Russell Wilson. So you walk away with Russell Wilson, future Hall of Fame franchise quarterback. They even got a draft pick back from Seattle. Peyton finessed John Snyder for a 4th-round pick, and he cleared $12 million in salary cap space. They were already among the flushest teams in the NFL. They got more flush. There is zero to hate about it. It's not just an A, it's an A++.
What's next now for Denver? With all that being said, draft picks and salary cap space and a roster that's certainly in a good spot. But what do they need to continue to add? What would still right now make you nervous if you're talking about postseason aspirations?
Well, the one thing Russell Wilson was disenchanted about in Seattle was the amount of times he was being hit and sacked behind that offensive line. The Broncos do have a major question mark at right tackle. They had Bobby Massey. He's kind of like a veteran mercenary. He's a free agent, so they have to fortify the line. That's number one. It won't matter if you have Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, Russell Wilson, or John Elway in his prime back there if you can't protect them. Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, learned that against the Bucs. So they're going to use the remaining cash funds to fortify the line, shore up as many areas on the roster of need as they can. They need defensive line help, edge help, inside linebacker help, some cornerback help, but you get that major piece taken care of. The most important position, not just in football, but all of sports. It makes everything else easier because a player like Russell Wilson's caliber lifts all boats around you. He makes everyone else better around you. So I expect Peyton to be aggressive in free agency. He can maybe look to build the super team, bring back Von Miller, maybe bring in a guy like a Bobby Wagner, reunite him with Russell Wilson, and go to work and use whatever draft picks you have left from the trade, because they do, because it was a great deal, to continue building what could be a championship caliber squad.
I think the compounding interest sort of view of the quarterback position is one that probably should get talked about more often. I think that's a great point. But also with that does come a microscope that, again, hasn't really been on that franchise, at least certainly nationally. Locally, of course, we're all obsessed with our own teams and are talking about every move, every step down the depth chart. Right. Part of the reason why sites like Mile High Huddle, or if I'm being a little bit self-aggrandizing, Arrowhead Report or Sports Radio 810. Why that is all important. That local coverage, I think, is really vital. But now whenever you're looking at what you guys are talking about locally, what the national picture is going to look like, do you have a feel for what a successful, not just 2022, but a successful Russell Wilson in Denver stint would have to look like?
Well, I mean, this is the great thing about trading for someone like Russ and not Aaron Rodgers, who's going on to his age 39 season. Russell's 33. And except for the injury last year, he was an Iron Man. He had a long starting streak snapped by that throwing hand injury. So he's durable. He wants to play at least into his late 30s, maybe early 40s. But you're talking about the barometer for success. When you give up the trade package like we talked about, you have to assume you're going to be in double-digit win territory. So for me personally, making the playoffs won't cut it. I am looking to compete with Kansas City in the West. I am looking to push Cincinnati in the AFC, and I am really looking for the Broncos to get back to that 2014, 2015, even 2012, who they lost to in the Super Bowl against Russell Wilson, getting back to that prior form, that Pat Bowlen standard, and being just a true powerhouse in the NFL immediately.
I think it's a high standard, but it's also what they're telling you they're shooting for. I also think that making the point of Russell Wilson being younger than most people would expect, that's something that I hit yesterday. Talking about, well, hold on a second, he's actually I feel like he's been around in this league forever, but there are years and like multiple years, maybe a couple of contracts left for Russell Wilson. Do you expect them to have an extension for him, by the way, and maybe restructure some things? Or do you have any feel for what that plan's going to be?
Yeah, I think that'll happen soon. Obviously, they can't make the deal official until March 16th, the start of the new league year. But once that's taken care of, he's under contract for 2 more seasons. They should show him some good faith and give him a deal, a long-term deal, maybe 4 or 5-year deal, commensurate to market value. It allows him to be paid like the quarterback that he is. It allows the Broncos to spread his cap figures and his base salaries along the life of the deal. I do look for that to happen. And again, Russell Wilson, there's a big age difference from 33 to 39. It's not like it's 2 years, 3 years. That's 6 years. That's a long time in NFL terms. So he has longevity. He has the motivation now. He's looking for a reboot in his career. That's how unhappy he was in Seattle. So I would expect the Broncos, maybe before the season starts, the upcoming season, to have a new deal in place with their new quarterback, Russell Wilson.
It's also an interesting time for a team to have a new head coach, like a new head coach and a young quarterback we see all the time. A new head coach and maybe an off-the-market, lower-market veteran we see every once in a while. But a new head coach and a superstar, a MVP caliber quarterback being traded in the same year, that's a little bit atypical, I think. And Nathaniel Hackett seemed like a good hire to me at the time. Obviously, now it seems like if that was a package deal in any way, shape, or form, if that made Russell Wilson's choice at all easier, then it's a slam dunk. But what do you expect from Nathaniel Hackett in year one? What excites you about him as a head coach?
I mean, after suffering through 2 years of Pat Shurmur, Josh, I mean, he's going to be just a major breath of fresh air. Bringing those Green Bay, West Coast schemes over to Denver. It's perfect for a player like Russell Wilson who lives to throw on the run. He lives for boot action fakes and getting outside the pocket and making things happen with his improvisational ability. It's also personally, it's just a breath of fresh air in the sense that he goes from older, curmudgeony Pete Carroll, and again, he dealt with the likes of Brian Schottenheimer, who I think is a little incompetent as a play caller at the NFL level, and he's coming to a 42-year-old Nathaniel Hackett who's like a kid out there. He has so much jubilation, so much energy. He just makes you smile when he's around you. So Russell, I think, is going to take to that off the field, and that'll translate on the field. I look for a perfect marriage in terms of on-paper scheme fit to take place between quarterback and head coach.
You also mentioned, the standards within the division and a lot of the breath we've spent here these last couple of days, and something where I think, hey, right now I think the Chiefs are in a better spot than the Broncos are. There's a lot that's going to change before 2022, whatever. But ultimately, for me, one thing that I am very eager to put out there is that everything for any of these AFC West teams has gotten harder, especially whenever you're talking about just the one first-round buys in the modern NFL with the extra playoff spots. You are going to have every one of those teams is going to have their share of 2 games against Patrick Mahomes, 2 games against Justin Herbert, 2 games against Russell Wilson, and then 2 games against by far the worst quarterback in the division, who might actually be a top 15 quarterback in the league, something around there. I don't know. And Derek Carr, like this division is a murderer's row, which Russell Wilson has only added to.
If Derek Carr stays in Vegas, there's rumors that he might go to the Colts or after the Carson Wentz trade.
Oh,
it's exciting.
The Colts.
And, let me just say. Let me just say, it's not. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that he's going to come in and unseat Patrick Mahomes. He has to go out and prove it. It is a new system. It is a learning curve. But when you go from your opponents in your division that you have to play twice a year, and those opponents have, like you mentioned, goes from Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and I'm a fan of Derek Carr, and then it drops off a cliff significantly to Teddy Bridgewater. When you go from that and then you rise right back up to Russell Wilson, I'm sorry, I'm not Nick Wright. He's not the 4th worst quarterback in the division. He's not even the 3rd worst. You can make the case that he is the best. You can make the case. He has to go out there and prove it, but at least we can agree on, Josh, that the battles between the Broncos and the Chiefs are going to be exciting, if nothing else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, look, in our line of work, there's different ways you can approach fandom or what you're rooting for or whatever. And I know for a fact that the grand majority of people within the sound of my voice right now are Chiefs fans more than anything. But I'm just excited for these games. Like, my life is better, I guess, when the Chiefs are good and winning and playing deep in the January and ideally into February. Fair enough. But my God, how good is Patrick Mahomes versus Russell Wilson twice? Russell Wilson versus Justin Herbert twice. I mean, and then also you get the fun of Russell Wilson versus Josh McDaniels twice, if you want to frame it that way in Denver.
I mean, yeah, and when you have 19-9 scores between the Broncos and Kansas City, that's not what I'm looking for.
No.
Me personally, I like the fireworks.
Me too.
I like the firepower. I want to see, 45-44 final. could go either way. And, Kansas City are the kings of the West for a reason. They are at the mountaintop, and the Broncos do have to work to unseat them. But inarguably, with Russell Wilson under center, that prospect becomes a lot more likely.
This is totally out of left field, and if the answer to this is that you don't have much info or it doesn't impact much, that's totally fair. But the whole process of the Broncos ownership group is something I've been trying to follow a little bit over the last, I guess at this point, couple of years, I suppose. Anything that impacts the Broncos day-to-day in your eyes? Obviously they just made a huge splash trade, and you'd expect there to be a contract extension soon, despite not having real clarity in the ownership situation. But it's been a really strange one from afar. I imagine even more so up close.
How do you not view the Broncos? If you're a multi-billionaire and you want to buy a professional sports team, how do you not look at the Broncos with what they're doing under George Payton, who they hired as head coach in Hackett, and now bringing aboard a quarterback? And that was the missing link all along. They needed a quarterback. They were a quarterback away. So if you're considering ponying up billions, you feel a lot better doing that when Russell Wilson is leading your team. So it's going to make them a more attractive bidding option. I don't know right now, as of this moment, who is the leader in the clubhouse. The Bolins are still in the mix. There's family squabbling there. There's local entrepreneurs that are supposedly interested. There's Antonio Brown. There's Kanye West. Those kind of rumors. It's crazy. You can't really nail it down right now, but it definitely, I think, increases the value overall. They might go for a few $100 million more now because Russell Wilson is a part of the team, but I think it gives more of a safety net for any potential buyer, and I think that deal will be consummated hopefully by summer.
Yeah. It is wild, though, to think about that this blockbuster move gets made. Again, maybe that contract ends up getting put out and then ultimately raises the value of that team in a way that I think, at least the way you laid it out for me, I don't have the $4 billion or so that it would take to get into the conversation, but it seems like a pretty good buy to me. Here's one more thing for you, and then we'll let you go. Get back to just generally being excited about your team getting a lot more fun, which is a great feeling. But tell us something we don't know about the Denver Broncos heading into this offseason, something that's maybe not about the offense at all, but isn't about Russell Wilson or Nathaniel Hackett or even the offensive line, a story that you think is worth telling that is flying under the radar outside of Denver.
I think to an extent, and this is going to be kind of a cop-out because he really is a good talent on film and on paper, but the impending emergence of Patrick Surtain on defense. You mentioned offense, you talked about Russell Wilson. They have a defense that, even under Fangio, that didn't coax game-changing plays, interceptions, sacks, turnovers. Patrick Surtain was robbed of a Pro Bowl as far as I'm concerned. So I think he's going to be taking that next step like Trevon Diggs did in Dallas, where he goes from maybe a little not of a household name in the league to emerging as a star and a Pro Bowler in year two. And also the new coordinator. He was the Rams secondary coach, Ajiro Evero. Few people, especially in Kansas City, Josh, have heard that name, but he's a quick riser in the NFL ranks. He's going to be aggressive. He promises to get after the quarterback, do what Vic Fangio wouldn't, and if he keeps the Fangio defense in place, which at times really confounded Patrick Mahomes. It really did throw him for a loop. He's going to keep that scheme in place and tweak it. So maybe you force more interceptions from Mahomes. Maybe you sack him a little more. Maybe you make a game-changing play to give the ball back to Russell Wilson. I think his hire and the emergence of some of the young talent they have on defense is being kind of swept under the rug because, of course, they just landed Russell Wilson.
Yeah, which, fair enough. Zach, that really great stuff, man. I'm excited to take a closer look at the work you're doing there. I know that everything you guys do at Mile High Huddle is absolutely A1. If anybody wants to get up to date with what's going on in the AFC West, you guys do great work there. Of course, you can also hear you on the Huddle Up podcast. Anything else, and at Kelberman NFL on Twitter, anything else that you do that you want people to know about before we let you go?
It's just nice to be behind enemy lines. Never thought I'd say that, but I appreciate you having me on, Josh.
It's nice to have you behind enemy lines. It's nice to have this little powwow as we kind of figure out what the next few years are going to look like. I'm excited about it.
Yes,
so
sir.
We'll talk to you again sometime in season, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate it. That's Zack Kelberman. Again, you can follow him on Twitter at Kelberman NFL. Again, you can check out all the work that they do over at Mile High Huddle. That's a part of the Fan Nation Sports Illustrated Network. Same network as Arrowhead Report. My work, Jordan Foot's work there. Zach's the deputy editor over at Mile High Huddle. Again, that site does fabulous work, and that was excellent stuff there from Zach. I don't know, and this might be, maybe Rudy can tell how it's all going back to the station. I don't know if Zach was wondering why our conversation was occasionally met with some nice club beats in the background. I'm not sure how the audio has come through back on studio side there, Rudy. Rudy might also be busy.
Sorry, I
That's
am
okay.
cutting audio.
You're spinning
yes.
plates. I get it. Does it sound okay?
No, you sound
good?
yeah, you sound
Good.
fine like you have all night.
All right, it's louder. It's louder here, because my actual ears are working, in addition to the mic and the headsets and everything. So I did have the thought process at one point of I wonder if Zach wonders why there's Panic at the Disco blasting in the background. Not that I would have a problem with that, obviously. But the answer to all of those questions is that you can. If you're out here, you can swing by and say hi. We're broadcasting live from Guy Fieri's Dive and Taco Joint out here at KCP&L. That's all for Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. K-State falls, potentially Bruce Weber's last time on the sidelines for the Kansas State Wildcats. We'll hear from him whenever we come back. But all this coverage here is brought to you by a bunch of our fabulous sponsors that help make this happen. And as you heard Hartzell and I talking about last hour, man, it just feels good to feel like we're really kind of back out here. I'm thrilled that to see all the people that we've seen so far, and the rest of this week should be a blast of a time. But again, none of it would be happening if it wasn't for our sponsors like Whataburger, opening new locations throughout the Kansas City area. Also, Gutter Cover KC, a first-class product installed with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. For details, go to guttercoverkc.com. Gutter Cover KC, they've got you covered. Also brought to you by X Golf Leawood, the premier indoor golf and entertainment experience in town. Book your tee time today at xgolfleawood.com. Located on the north side of Town Center Plaza Shopping Center, bring the world's best golf simulator experience to you. Also brought to you by Core First Bank. At Core First Bank, a winning game plan doesn't just magically happen. Whether we're talking about basketball or your own business, you need a team you can count on. Core First Bank, member FDIC. Also brought to you by our great friends over at CBD American Shaman. You've heard them on this show. You've heard them on Radio Row. You've heard them on Chiefs Postgame. They're everywhere, and they're here to tell you, got to go into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Who couldn't use a little less stress in our lives? Use a little more of CBD from CBD American Shaman, because everything is better with the feather. And, of course, brought to you by Miller Lite. Miller Lite Fan Fest, Wednesday through Sunday at the Power and Light District. Pep rallies, watch parties, prizes, and giveaways. I told you, I've said this on the show a couple of times now, I have not cracked open a brewski since I've been doing a whole lot more carbohydrate math in my life. I am really excited to break that trend with a nice cold glass, nice cold can, nice cold bottle, nice cold anything of Miller Lite. I feel like having a Miller Lite out here at FanFest is pretty much the best place to do it. Lots of good nominees, I'm sure. But I'm excited to get that experience back again as well. All happening out here at Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll take a break and hear from Bruce Weber, head coach of K-State men's basketball, possibly for the last time under that title. Sounds like there's some interesting stuff in his post-game press conference after they fell to West Virginia tonight. We'll hear that whenever we come back.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
More energy, better sleep, and so much happier. 40 pounds lighter and still going strong. Shaman's Leawood Total Wellness has changed my life. 2 words, guys, it works. Tell your friends, tell your wife, tell anyone who wants to lose some weight and live a better life. Call or stop by for a free consultation. Mention 810 and get $100 off your startup fee. Shaman's Leawood Total Wellness, 117th and Row in Leawood, or call 913-227-9150. Life is better with the feather.
Geico presents Motorcycle Sounds. If you hear this, and within 15 seconds, you already know that it's a 6-speed cruiser with a wheelbase of 120 inches, a V-twin 2-cylinder engine with a max torque of 110 foot-pounds, a bright yellow body, black upholstery, chromed-out wheels, a nice clean fairing, and a big dresser in the back ready to tour, well, then you probably ride a motorcycle. So you probably know that Geico could save you even more when you bundle motorcycle with your home or car insurance. Geico Motorcycle. Save even more when you bundle.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired their personal trainer as a caterer.
All right,
right, folks, let's keep this line moving. You there with the tongs. Picking up one Duchess potato at a time will not cut it at my catering table. Drop and give me 50.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Okay, this is what we call the wild mushroom and asparagus dip, and press. Come on, let's get those plates above your heads.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
When you're thinking about New Orleans, why not let jazz cook for you?
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. That's what we do at Jazz. Papa Vic here to tell you about what's happening at your favorite restaurant, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. COVID still got you down? No worries. We're open. Come in and let Jazz cook for you. We've partnered with Proactive Protect to provide nanotechnology protection that sanitizes all our tables, chairs, and the interior of the restaurant. So come on in. Everybody is safe. Tired of your mama's cooking? Check out our website, jazzkitchens.com, and place your order online or through Menufy. Not comfortable coming in? Check out our dedicated curbside parking spots, and we'll bring the taste of New Orleans to your car. 3 locations, the original at 39th and State Line, and at Legends of Village West, our newest location in Independence at I-70 and 291, just east of the Cable Dahmer Arena. Jazz, where there's a Dixieland band and a sultry day and every bite.
If you're dreaming about New Orleans, that jazz do your cooking up for you.
Jazz, where there's always a party every night.
Hi, I'm Steve Hedgepath with Quad Power Products. We know that time is money, and we pride ourselves in getting our customers back up and running quickly. At Quad Power Products, we can duplicate your hydraulic hose assemblies while you wait, in most cases getting you back out the door in 15 minutes or less. We have an excellent inventory of hydraulic hoses, quick couplers, and adapters, and we pair it with the best customer service. Come see us today, Quad Power Products on Hickman Mills Drive, just south of the Triangle in South Kansas City.
Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the Big 12 Championship. Get fired up, Kansas City, before you head into the games with the official team pep rallies, or hang out and watch all the action on the big screen. And you can catch all the latest news with press conferences featuring all the players and coaches, plus live play-by-play from inside T-Mobile Center. It's all right here on your home for the Big 12 Championship, March Madness, and the Final Four. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Let's take a break. I don't think this hour is getting salvaged. This hour is going to be really disappointing to everyone who is like, oh, he did a show with Bobby Bell and Bill Moss. I bet that's really interesting. I wonder what else he did tonight. And then it's just a long,
Something else.
Something else,
It's just a Venus flytrap.
A what?
A Venus flytrap.
Yeah. You're like, oh, look at all this normal Chiefs talk we do with interesting Chiefs players, and then just they fly inside and snaps close, and they're trapped here now. It's Almost Entirely Sports. They're trapped here.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Still broadcasting live from Guy Fieri's Dive and Taco Joint out here at Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. And I have not heard this audio yet, to be honest. This is going to be me hearing it live for the first time, as Bruce Weber spoke to the media following K-State's first game of the tournament loss to West Virginia, the only game of the day today in the Big 12 tournament. And, it was a close one, but ultimately, these are two teams you certainly don't expect to be playing around much longer beyond this game here, and it's obviously been a disappointing season and a disappointing stretch for Bruce Weber and the Kansas State Wildcats. And apparently here in this one answer that goes on for quite a while from Bruce Weber, he covers a whole lot of ground in what could be his final press conference as the head coach of the Kansas State Wildcats. Let's go ahead and hear from Bruce Weber just a little while ago over from the T-Mobile Center.
Bruce, on the chance that this was your final game at Kansas State, is there anything you want to say or reflect on your 10 years? Or
I'll be honest. I am very, very proud of my time here. It's funny. Some of you guys asked about the tradition and all the history, and and I look out at the banner, and it was a long, long time, and they hadn't won a Big 12 championship. And, we won in 13. I told the guys that the sad part, and the funny part and sad part, I didn't get much credit for that. And they all said it wasn't my guys. But I would tell you, probably the closest group of all my 40-some years of coaching is that group. From Thomas Gibson to Shane to Nino to DJ to Rodney to all that group. And some of them had a year, some of them had 2 years, but that group was really, really special. And then we did it with our guys. We won a Big 12, and I'm really proud of that. And obviously the Elite Eight, I'm proud of. The tournament bids, obviously, I wish I had more, and everyone wants more. But in that, between 77 and 13, K-State had some pretty good coaches. Names that come to mind: Lon Kruger, probably Hall of Famer, didn't win a title. Then it's Dana Altman, Hall of Famer, got fired, didn't win a title. Then it's Bob Huggins, only a year, but a Hall of Famer. Didn't win a title. Frank Martin, maybe a Hall of Famer, pretty good coach, didn't win a title. And we won titles. And we did it the right way. We did it with our guys graduating. Part of my hair thing, guys, I'm on the NCAA Ethics Committee. And on the meetings, I was told that they were going to take care of the people in the FBI stuff. So I told somebody, I'm going to grow my hair until something happens. Obviously, it's still growing. And that's the sad part of our business. Lon Kruger told me the other day, he goes, think about it, guys. All the guys in the FBI thing are in, except one, I think, are in the NCAA tournament. All those teams are going to be in the NCAA tournament. So I'm just proud of what I've done. Proud of these guys. Love them. Proud of the guys I've coached. To see Thomas Gibson come in with his little kids and, just get a hug from them. All, just anybody. Justin Edwards, the dad, all down the line. Even J.O., I told the guys, he's LeBron James' special coach now, but even J.O. is, you're proud of the guys like that. So, whatever happens in the future happens, and that's fine. K-State is a great place, great people, and I told you the other day, I love coaching here, love coaching. I love, I know I'm old and I got gray hair, but they'll tell you I got some spunk, and I'll kick Mark's ass a bunch of times. So, and that dude's a bull. So it's, we'll see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. That's life. I pray a lot. It's very, very. My faith is very important to me, and all along, this journey, I'm a miracle, guys. I wasn't a great player. I told the guys where I came. My dad came over on a boat, didn't get a high school degree. He made all my family teachers and coaches. My brother's High School Hall of Fame, Wisconsin. Illinois High School Hall of Fame, sisters, teachers, and coaches. And I had a whim to go to I wanted to be a GA, and I drove 9 hours to Western Kentucky to interview with Coach Gady, and he wasn't there. I had driven 9 hours. I never drove 9 hours in my life. And I had my leisure suit on. I was ready for the interview, and he wasn't there. And the secretary laughed at me, and I said, well, where is he? Well, he's not here. He's out. Is he coming back? No, he's out of the country. Well, he forgot. And I remember going back to camp, working camp, and calling him on a payphone. I put quarters in. There were no cell phones at these guys would have no idea about that. And I called Coach Gady, and I said, Coach, I came in. Oh, I'm sorry. why don't you drive down again? I said, Coach, I'm running Rick and Jarris's camp, and I can't leave again. Either you hire me or you don't. And if I would have known what Coach Katie was about at that time, I would have probably, I would have never said that, but I didn't know how mean he was and how tough he was. And he was quiet, and he said, okay, you're hired. He never met me, and was with him 19 years. Unbelievable years. Gave me a chance. I told these guys my degree in basketball have given me lifetime experiences that I've never dreamed of, and really proud of them. And talked to guys I coached 40 years ago, and it feels like I was still their guy, and their buddy. So it's it's a crazy business. I've loved it. I hope I get to continue, but we'll see what happens.
Wow. I mean, I get it. That's a pretty compelling, certainly very honest, very vulnerable, very emotional Bruce Weber there on a variety of things. That's just also one answer. There aren't a lot of times that a press conference answer can go on that long, and I just don't believe that anybody within the sound of the 810 broadcast transmitter would have turned off the radio during that answer, regardless of who you're a fan of. Stories of the K-State coaches to come before, stories of how he got there, stories of his dad, and then without any, degrees to speak of, turning his kids into coaches and teachers. That's some pretty good stuff there from Bruce Weber. And that, a step beyond that, first of all, again, the idea of, I'm a miracle, guys, but said it in a very humble way and not in the way that I imagine a prime Deion Sanders would have said it, which also would have been great just for different reasons. That angle is something. But also you get, I think, the most honest little jab you're going to get from Bruce Weber on growing out his hair. I made the joke to Hartzell during a break that he looks like a cartoon scientist come to life on the sidelines right now with just big Doc Brown hair sort of taking over. Said he'll grow out his hair until the FBI stuff got figured out. Has not had a reason to get a haircut yet. And then he says that's the sad part of our business. Something like all but one of the teams or coaches from the FBI investigations are in the tournament. Now, look, the overwhelming part of me does not feel like I have any reason to question or doubt Bruce Weber, so please don't hear me doing that. Ultimately, coaches are going to always say they did it the right way, and they're all going to have stories of their purity and everyone else's corruption. And I understand. I'm saying that not to be critical of Bruce Weber in any way, but to say, hey, I'm aware of that. Born at night, not last night, et cetera, et cetera. But I think if you're out here with that as your potential line out the door at the end, that also sounds like somebody who, in addition to being very grateful, which is always a wonderful emotion to hear from people, that's also an angry man on that particular topic, right? Like there is some anger, and I think probably if you take his side of how K-State's operated over these years, a bit of a righteous anger of, you kidding me? We did this the right way, and we don't have as many tournament bids as I'd like. We're out here losing spots to teams that cut corners or cheated rules or didn't play by the letter of the law. We're losing spots to those guys. I think there's some, if it's not anger, maybe hurt in there. I don't know. I don't want to be a pop therapist to Bruce Weber's emotions, but I think that some of those come through in a really a bare, honest way that, honestly, you probably don't hear from him if he's been assured that he's coming back next year. It's probably something you keep to yourself when you know that it's not going to come back and bite you because you talked a little extra spicy about a bunch of guys that have made the tournament that you're looking at and saying these guys don't deserve to be there. They cheated. They did not do it the right way. They've got shame on them. And yet, he would be right about this. If me reading into this is any way accurate, he'd be right about this. Nobody cares how you did it if you do it. And certainly nobody cares how you did it if you do it and don't get caught. And, nobody might be a little bit over the top, but my nobody here isn't that you couldn't find a person who does care. I'm sure plenty of people are yelling at their cars saying of course they care. But institutionally, when you hang the banners, when you sell the shirts to your fans, not to just throw water on KU right now, still waiting on some investigation results of their own. But even if KU has wins vacated or Big 12 titles vacated or tournament appearances vacated or any of the most punitive punishments the NCAA can put down, any KU fans listening to me right now planning on discarding their 13 straight conference championship t-shirts? To be clear, I'm coming to you from a stage at Guy Fieri's restaurant at P&L, but I'm not coming to you from a mountaintop. I'm not saying you should. In fact, you shouldn't. Those emotions, again, this is another further gripe of vacated titles or, telling you that those games didn't happen. They did. You watched them. You saw them. You celebrated them. You bought the shirts. Those memories are yours. The party you had after any of those titles or anything that might ever be trying to have it scrubbed from the record books, that still belongs to you, and you'll have that memory. Bruce Weber sounds like a guy who took pride in making sure that there was never any threat of anything being taken away or anything ever being vacated or anything even really being cast underneath a shadow of doubt. But ultimately, if you don't win, the process of how you got to not winning doesn't matter to most people. Winning, the process with which you win will matter to some, and in some circumstances. Some team trades for Deshaun Watson this offseason and they win the division. They'll sell the divisional title T-shirts. Lots of fans will buy them. Certainly there will be some fans that would have bought them that won't. But whenever you go about it any given way and you don't have the result at the end, you don't really get bonus points for that. And again, I hope you don't hear me doing that in a way of being critical of Bruce Weber or saying like, oh, boo-hoo. What I'm actually kind of lamenting is that fact. Again, like it feels more like a lamentation in the way that I'm saying it than how you goody two-shoes. I don't know. I think it's really interesting. I also think it's interesting to hear a coach potentially on the brink of being fired, right? To hear a coach be prideful and to remind you of the great coaches that your team had that did not win meaningfully. Now, like, you could hear that and go, man, is that a bitter way of doing it? Is there an insecurity in that or anything? Whatever. I just hear it, and I hear a man who's taken some pride in the work that he's done, rightfully so, of course. And also is kind of reminding you, hey, you can curse my name on the way out, but don't you dare treat me like I'm David Beatty. You know what I mean? Like, this is not KU Les Miles. I saw a couple of tweets comparing where K-State's at right now in basketball and how a couple of bad hires got KU football into a very dark place, obviously. Bruce Weber is not here to be remembered as a failure. maybe as a guy who did not achieve every single goal he wanted every single year, but he is not about to be considered a fool. And good, you've got to stand up for yourself sometimes in those circumstances. So I don't know what's going to happen with the future of K-State basketball, but I do hope that, man, if you're a K-State fan listening to that, I hope you don't hear sour grapes, and I hope you don't hear the lament of the loser. I hope you hear your coach giving a bleep in a major way. I don't know. I'm not too deeply dug in on any of these local college rivalries. I've got maybe I'm thinking off the top of my head real quick. Maybe the most of my friends would have the most affiliation to Mizzou, at least my media friends. I've got, not quite in-laws, future in-laws that are all K-Staters. I've covered KU the most in my time covering these teams. I've got people that I care about rooting for all these teams, so I have the positives of being able to enjoy having 3 college teams that matter in this market much more than I get to sink into the rivalry of it all. It's just never really been a part of my life. So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask, but I hope K-State fans are able to take that with a smile, even if it is the end of the Bruce Weber era. You're going to get excited about somebody else. And I kind of hope that KU fans will remember the Bruce Weber era kind of fondly. We got some funny moments. Ask Fran Fraschilla about that. Maybe there's some sour grapes. I don't know. Maybe rivalries are so severe that it's hard for people to make that jump. I'm not here to lecture you if it is. That's up to you. But I kind of like hearing that from Bruce Weber. So there you go. Some interesting extra flavor on that. Rudy, you've been off on an island and you've been doing 57 other things, and I'm on remote and you're back at the station. So I haven't gotten to hear a ton from you tonight. I don't know if there's anything else from that or any of the other Bruce Weber audio you were cutting that you found interesting, or any other thoughts on the 6 minutes or so that we just heard from him?
Yeah, I think the thing that probably sticks out to me the most, K-State fans have wanted Bruce Weber gone for a few years now. That's not anything new, right? We hear it all the time. I do think there's something to the whole, the grass isn't always greener. Bruce Weber mentioned this, some of the Hall of Fame coaches who have coached at K-State before him, Lon Kruger, Dana Altman, none of those guys won a Big 12 title. Bruce Weber won 2 of them. Frank Martin, who is beloved, never won a Big 12 title. He's got 2 of them. There have been down years for sure, and by no means do I think he's the most fantastic coach ever or anything. I think he's a good coach. And I think they're probably at a point where, I don't know if you ever have to move on, but they're probably at a point where, if you're going to do it, this seems about about the best time to do it. It's, hey, we've been doing this for a decade. It's time for a change. It's time for a new voice. I get all that. The next guy isn't always better. Bruce Weber won a lot of games. He never got in trouble, and he won you a couple of Big 12 titles. That's not that bad.
Well, and again, I'm sorry for stealing from someone on Twitter who I'm not properly crediting now, but if you use the KU football model on that, you say the grass isn't always greener, and that is one element of it that I think is worth noting for K-State and K-State fans, K-State higher ups at this point. But the other side of it, and everyone always thinks about, we fire this coach, we're going to be able to hire the next great thing, and we're going to be back in the tournament in 2 years, and we're going to be back in Elite Eight again in
the next guy is always better. He's always the next great coach.
Yes. No one ever fires a coach and hires a new one and expects there to be a step back, which, obviously, right? I mean, ideally, sure, yes, you would hope that's the way you would be doing it. But and that's the upside. The danger is that if you fire Bruce Weber at the worst point, during his tenure at K-State, and clearly, again, a down stretch, but if you hire the wrong guy next, that hole gets dug more deeply, more quickly than I think most people probably think of happening to your team. And I just think that's an angle of it that's kind of interesting and worth thinking about as K-State is likely to make that move. So good stuff there from Bruce Weber, and I hope that I don't know. We don't talk a lot of college basketball or a lot of college coaching hires around here or anything. So maybe a little bit of a change of pace for us here on Almost Entirely Sports tonight. But I'm glad we played that. I'm glad that people got to hear that, and I'm glad that we're out here at Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll be out here tomorrow night as well. But we'll wrap up this evening's show whenever we come back.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Join fellow college basketball fans at Kansas City's Big 12 Run on Saturday, March 12th at 9 a.m. in downtown KC. Runners are encouraged to wear their favorite team's colors and show their school spirit for this fun 5K race. Register today at Big12Run.com to get all the great participant perks, which include a free Big 12 basketball-themed shirt, a cool finisher's medal, and a celebratory beer after the race. It's Kansas City's Big 12 Run on Saturday, March 12th. Register at Big12Run.com. Union Broadcasting is a proud sponsor of the Big 12 Run.
The CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. Behold the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. This isn't some bean counter. Today's CFO is critical to the strategy, growth, and profitability of the business. But in growing companies, there are two kinds of CFOs. One who's struggling to keep up with spreadsheets everywhere, manual processes, errors, and lack of visibility into the numbers. It takes weeks to close the books. And one who's on top of their game. Automated reports, inventory, e-commerce, and HR flow into the financial models seamlessly. Insights coming with the click of a button. This CFO uses NetSuite by Oracle with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. That's why NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system used by over 28,000 growing businesses. Like I said, the CFOs that get it, get it. The CFOs that don't. Head to netsuite.com/radar for a special one-of-a-kind financing offer. netsuite.com/radar. netsuite.com/radar.
Kansas City, you're on the clock. Jason Anderson here from MainStreetPreowned.com. If you've been looking for a quality used car, truck, or SUV, I've got the answer. MainStreetPreowned.com. All makes, all models, over 500 used vehicles to choose from, all with dealer cash rebates up to $2,000. MainStreetPreowned.com. Their inventory is constantly changing every 15 days, so it all has to go and is constantly being restocked with more. MainStreetPreowned.com. That's MainStreetPreowned.com.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Jason, you have done it again.
Happy New Year to you. We did do it. It was a really strange year, but we had some things we tried to accomplish, and we succeeded. We are the #1 Ford F-150 dealer in the Kansas City area for the 5th year in a row, Toby. Very proud of that accomplishment.
That is absolutely amazing. Down in Lewisburg, Kansas, you have sold more F-150 pickups than anybody in the greater Kansas City area.
That's right, Toby, and that's because of our $50 over invoice pricing. We save people a ton of money, Toby.
And even more now.
Right now, it's really weird, and inventories are thin, and dealers are charging a ton. But we are still selling brand new F-150s and everything else at $50 over factory invoice. Nobody else will do that, Toby.
And passing all rebates along everything.
All the rebates to the customer, as always.
Okay, no games, no gimmicks. I guarantee you this is the best place to buy a Ford product. Lewisburg Ford, Lewisburg, Kansas. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Or LewisburgFord.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
This show's free. It's a free show. If you don't like
shows sometimes.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
This show's really gone by pretty quickly. It's been a ton of fun. I almost forgot that Kent Swanson tried to dunk on me in the first hour of the show in a real sabotage, betrayal, backstabbing sort of move. So thanks to everybody else who joined the show. Really appreciate Zack Kelberman's time. He of Mile High Huddle, doing some great work covering the Broncos there on Mile High Huddle. I know they're the enemy and everything, but man, their team just got more interesting. Those games just got more interesting. And if you're just purely, if you're Andy Reid or you're Brett Veach or whatever, that move stinks for the Chiefs. But as a fan, if you can find a little bit of fun in the chaos that's going to be in that division this year, you should enjoy it. And then, of course, I'm so excited that Hartzell is one of us now, if you will. I just think he said, people have been telling him that this just makes sense, despite the fact that the only sports words we've heard him say is Johnny Russell. Like, that's his claim to sports word yelling. But man, I think that everyone in Kansas City, if you have love for Kansas City sports, the city as a whole, whatever it is, that's real from Hartzell. So I'm just stoked out of my mind to be able to keep talking to him on a regular basis. And, of course, thanks to all of our sponsors who make all this possible. Thanks to Whataburger, Gutter Cover KC, X-Golf Leewood, Core First Bank, CBD American Shaman, and Miller Lite. We've been broadcasting live from Miller Lite Fan Fest at Hoops Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. A big day of basketball tomorrow. Big day of fun and activities on the KC Live stage. We'll be out here in the snow and the cold. Doesn't matter. We're out here for a party. Hope you'll come out and join us. We'll have an AES from 7 to 10 tomorrow night as well. A lot of our friends are out here in the Power and Light District. Come and join us. Let's have a good time tomorrow night. We will we'll take our what will it be, 21 hours or so leading up to tomorrow night's show kicking off, and hopefully we'll get bundled up and have a good time tomorrow night. We'll see you out here at PNL. Until then, bye, Mom.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's wild to think we have a winter storm heading our way tonight. All I can think of is how good my garage floor will look when all the snow gets tracked in. You see, the crew at Polymagic hooked me up with a new polyurea garage floor, which is 10 times more durable than epoxy. I'm no longer worried about storing a wet snow shovel or lawnmower on the garage floor. Call my friends at Polymagic for a free estimate and mention the SSJ special, 816-765-4800, or online at polymagic.net.
Won't you come along with me? Come out to jazz with me.
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. That's what we do at Jazz. Papa Vic here to tell you about what's happening at your favorite restaurant, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. Economy got you down? You don't need a fat wall at Jazz. Come enjoy our succulent, home cooking, Cajun cuisine anytime. Come in and let Jazz cook for you. We've partnered with Proactive Protect to provide nanotechnology protection that sanitizes all our tables, chairs, and the interior of the restaurant. So come on in. Not comfortable coming in? Check out our website, jazzkitchens.com, and place your order online or through Menufy. Check out our dedicated curbside parking spots, and we'll bring the taste of New Orleans to your car. 3 locations, the original at 39th and State Line, and at Legends of Village West, our newest location in Independence at I-70 and 291, just east of the Cable Dahmer Arena. Jazz. All that and a bowl of gumbo, too.
Say, Bob, you sure dig jazz.
Jazz.
Yeah.
And there's always a party every night.
Give your home a fresh look and save 11% on everything. Pittsburgh Ultra Interior Flat Paint and Primer in One's high-quality acrylic latex formula provides a durable and washable finish. Right now, a gallon is only $9.97 after rebates. That's $10 off. Hurry in. This deal's only good through March 12th. Get 11% off everything at Menards. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com.
Sports talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.